Let's dive into all of this right now.
We would be honored if you would join us.
I had no choice. They arrived right before you did. I'm sorry.
Well, listen, baby, I'm not sorry because I played that up because if you watched me last night on the Man of Hot Collectibles show, right here, that guy right here, my goodness gracious, and this figure looks sick, dudes. I mean, I did an unboxing. I put it in my insiders for Cantina Insiders. It's a lot of fun. So if you're an insider, go check that out. But this figure, is it possible that this figure made my top 10 of 2021? You have to wonder. But listen, that's kind of the mood that I'm in here today. And I am the Dark Jedi, Aries Tarrington, and I'll be surfing up all the Star Wars Hot Toys talk, along with this fine panel of collectors. Are you kidding me? Let's start from the top. Lane, you're back in the house. You're in the cantina.
Yes.
What's going on, baby?
So happy to be here. Except for Aries, I had one thing with you yesterday.
Yeah,
I let you know, as I told you earlier, Jyn Ursa is one of my grails. And I was just like, I saw you go, and I was like, Aries, really?
Did it hurt you,
I
baby?
was happy you got it, but I was like, really, Aries, you're going to show me that now?
Well, here, let me rip the Band-Aid off, baby. Here you go. Yeah, there she is. She's hot, baby.
Everybody in chat, I'm not giving Aries a hard time. I am happy you got it because you know what? I can probably always say, hey, would you take 2 pictures and send them to me, and I can live vicariously through him. So that's what matters at the end of the day.
Well, listen, sometimes I feel like the Hot Toys wizard lives vicariously through me. He just kind of pops up. Yesterday it was Julia Roberts. Are you kidding me? It was a special code at Comic Concepts. Anthony, what's going on, my friend?
Hey, how's it going, bud? It's good to be here, guys.
Good to have you in, Anthony, in the house. KG, what's up, my friend?
Thank you for having me, Aries. I'm just excited for being on here, man. I can't wait to talk about Hot Toys Star Wars. Can't wait.
You got your spotchka ready, kid?
I got water. I don't know if that counts as spotchka. I got water. So, just saying.
Peyton,
what's up, everybody?
You're in the house.
I'm here. I'm glad to be here.
Always good to have you on, my friend. It's going to be a fun time. And last but certainly not least, we got KeCo from KeCo Collects. What's up, brother?
What is up? I am extremely excited to be here. I'm actually batching it this weekend, meaning I have so much energy, and I am so excited to be here talking toys, watching football, enjoying the weather, all that good stuff. So, guys, this is going to be a fantastic panel.
So listen, KeCo, you said you got a lot of energy. Do you want some regular here, or do you need decaf?
No, I do not. I'm hyped up on some Monster. Monster is my drink of choice right now, as well as a little bit of pre-workout that I had right around 2:00. So it's still working its way through my system. So I'm feeling nice and tingly, and I'm ready to go today.
Well, listen, I hope. Listen, at the cantina, all 6 of us are going to be serving it all up. Gonna say hi to everybody who's watching along with us. Man of Hot Collectibles. Hello, everyone. Sorry I couldn't make it today, but you guys are in great hands with this amazing panel. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dante. Enjoy the show. Listen, enjoy. I know you're having a few drinks there, Dante. I'm sure that they're like, vanilla milkshakes or you. Enjoy yourself, brother. And welcome to everybody that's in the house. We got Paul Morales in the house. We got, who's this guy? Oh, just kidding. 6 Scale Mafia. He's already in the house. Carbonite Kid's in the house. Hey, Anthony, saying hi to you.
Hey.
Michael Meza is in the house. My goodness, the collector. Table 66, hit me up. What's your pleasure, baby? Do you want some spotchka? Do you want there it is, egg juice? Do you want the egg juice, baby? Come on, that's the off-world Jawa egg juice. Man, I'm telling you, I feel like, guys, and again, welcome to everybody who's in here. This is the Market Show Live. We're all going to be serving it up. And I feel pumped up. And I feel so pumped up, and not just because of the Gin Urso that's driving Lane crazy, or my Lando Calrissian, but I feel like I'm pumped up for hot air, because I feel like nothing happened. I'm still waiting for some things. You're all waiting for some things.
Yep.
And something came out this week that, I thought was, I was expecting it. I was expecting it, guys, to come out. So, let's go to the first topic I'm going to bring up tonight. The quarter scale Mandalorian is officially released. And for those of you in the chat, we've been talking about this backstage a little bit. So let me go ahead and pull this up onto the screen, because, I personally think that this is wonderful. It looks really, really good. And we'll get into this segment talking about the quarter scale Mandalorian officially released. Let me go ahead here and start with Lane. We're going to go from top to bottom. Lane, your impressions of this particular figure? I think it looks gorgeous, man, but go ahead, go.
I really like it actually quite a bit. I mean, the real selling point for this one for me is the base of the deluxe. Like that base with IG-11 and all that is amazing. The figure looks good. I think actually maybe more of the more impressive things is we've got a Grogu that moves and has some articulation to it.
That's hot.
Yeah, I think that actually to me is kind of the coolest thing with this. The only holdback to this is, unfortunately, we have the Chrome Mando. And I think the coloration and stuff, that is one thing that would maybe hold me back, because it's not the latest look to it. But if you like quarter scale, like if you like bigger size, or you've been thinking about maybe trying to get into them for some Hot Toys, this guy can kind of be a standalone by himself. You don't need to necessarily have a bunch of other ones. Great figure. If you got the money for it, you can budget it. And I mean, that's a very unique base.
Oh, look at that. That's that base you're talking about, baby. Yeah. I mean, Lane, it is hot as hell.
And you can use, I'm sure because I know for some of the Spider-Man bases, that can make a really good one. You might be able to do some unique things with 6-scale figures if you have a 6-scale Mando or something too with them. Yeah.
No, I think that there's a lot going on with this figure. Let's go to Anthony. Anthony, look at this shot. And I mean, listen, if someone told me that this was a shot from like season 2 or season 3, I would believe it, Anthony.
Oh yeah. I don't know who took the photos, but they've been doing really good lately, these past couple months with these product photos. And I'm gonna agree pretty much with everything Lane just said, because on a lot of things there, because if you aren't into quarter scales, this is a great quarter scale to start with, for example. And he looks phenomenal. He's like, I think he's going to be like the definitive quarter scale Mando. I don't know if they're going to, I mean, you never say never, right? But are they going to make another quarter scale Mando down the road? If so, it's probably going to be a long time before they do. So I mean, he's pretty amazing looking. I'm going to pick him up. The only quarter scale I have is my Darth Vader. So I figured Mando was going to be the second one in the collection.
Yeah, and real quickly before we go on to the rest of the panel, initial impressions on that quarter scale Mandalorian. Dante, the man at Hot Collectibles. Listen, you're hitting me up with the $9.99 bomb, drinks for all. Listen, we're gonna have to pay it back to you, baby, and then it's happy hour here at the cantina. Dante's paying it all up. Spotchka, let's go. Regular. Where's Popsick? Is he at table 5? Who's on table 66? Oh my goodness gracious! Thank you so much, there, Dante. Keep drinking and keep chatting. Keep going in the chats there, baby. Thank you so much, Dante. Really appreciate the super chat. And again, 57 in here already. Welcome everybody who's in watching the Market Show live. It is great to have you in here. And what we're talking about, and going back to this screen, is KeCo, this does, and I know you take a lot of awesome pictures. that I see on Instagram. You do a great job with that. Great job on your channel with all this stuff. Again, this looks like it's from the movie. So I mean, I'm just talking generically Hot Toys. Man, they're amazing.
Yeah, and I do appreciate the kind words that you've thrown towards the channel and, you know, obviously
Absolutely.
the Instagram. So thank you so much for that. But I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate, is that I think we have been extremely spoiled, and I know we're going to talk about, you know, the Chrome Mando at one point, but to me, I think when you're talking quarter scale, especially when you're having an opportunity to kind of really ramp up a lot of the finer details, I don't see enough outside of the cloth goods Grogu, which I think, as we've talked about, is fantastic. I don't see enough difference between this and the actual 6 scale version to me. Outside of the base and the cloth goods Grogu. And so when you're talking about the real estate that this takes up in your collection, and someone that I buy my figures from said, hey, are you interested in this quarter scale? And I was like, I have a firm rule. I cannot do quarter scale because it's a space issue for me. And so I didn't have to think long and hard about this one simply because I just don't have the room for it. But if I did have the room, outside of that thigh plate, you know, the difference between that and the 6 scale version, nothing's really jumping out at me that says this is a quarter scale. This is a premium thing that commands the premium price tag for me. But that's just my opinion.
No, KeCo, I think that's a very good point as we go to Peyton off that. You know, I agree when you bring that up. You know, as far as the figure itself, you know, it just goes to show you how good Hot Toys does making the 1/6 version of the Mandalorian. This does command a premium price. You know, and maybe, you know, your impressions on that, Peyton, is it more the base that Lane brought up that is the selling point? Is it actually the articulated Grogu that's maybe the selling point to this? What is your impressions on this?
I think a nice combination of all of those things, to be honest. This is a nice figure, but the 6 scale version can run with it quality wise. They look very similar. So, I mean, I don't think if you don't collect quarter scale, I don't think you need this one. But if you do collect quarter scale, definitely. I'm not going to get this, but some of these pictures, like, goodness, it looks like somebody in real life. Like, this is amazing.
I mean, the photographer with this just really, really nailed it. And that's awesome. I mean, this is awesome, but I think that's a great point. This doesn't look so much different than the Mandalorian that I have that's in the 6 scale version. And I tell you what, if the 6 scale version came with that base, oh my goodness, would I spill my coffee?
Yeah,
I mean, that pace would be KG amazing. You know, as everyone's talking over here, I'm starting to wonder, is it possible? Because I was actually thinking of picking this up just because of the Grogu and the base. I'm actually going to pick up the Grogu. But that base, I'm definitely going to pick up that Grogu. But I keep going back to that base, bro. That base is hot.
Yeah. It's interesting, you know, Aries, is that I think a couple of weeks back I was contemplating, I think, you know, Peytstrick, and I think you saw my story, that I'm actually contemplating and whether or not if I want to go pick up the 20-inch Spider-Man from Homecoming because of that base. The base, for me, 20-inch Spider-Man, or, you know, 20-inch figures in general, when it comes to Hot Toys, their bases are phenomenal. It's amazing. This base is amazing with IG-11 and Mando helmet, with a Beth Star, you know, like, I mean, it's a great base. I mean, if anything, I'm more into the base than the figure. The figure is just that base is worth the price of admission for me. I think, you know, right now, this is not my number one priority in my list. I mean, this is a 1/4 scale Mando, and it really doesn't fit in my collection right now so far. Once I do get that 20-inch Spider-Man, I'm gonna be in the dark side. I'm gonna probably go buy no more 20s, you know, figures, and this is the second one I would probably buy. Right now, you know, the one thing I do wish, and anybody can agree with me with this, is that I wish they went with the chrome effect with this one.
Yes,
they've shown that they could do it with their 1/6 scale season 2 Mando, which we'll get we'll talk more about that. They could have done it with this one, and they could have done it with, you know, how they did with Rey. They give us extra accessories that we haven't seen in the promo photos, where they could have given us a dark saber, a Beskar spear, things like that would have probably jumped people going, you know what, let me go get this figure, because it comes with those accessories that were included in the season 2 Mandalorian.
So KG, let me ask you this before you continue then with that. On top of that, I agree. I think that they actually should have included the chrome plating on this, I think it would have made it more in demand. But let me ask you this: how about a head sculpt with this? You know, you talk about that quarter scale Vader, which really Anthony was talking about that, and I eyeball that every week, baby. But that would be like I actually can see that quarter scale in my Hot Toys collection, because that Vader can be a centerpiece. The Mandalorian here is very popular right now. It's kind of like a new centerpiece for Star Wars, birthing a new era, if you will. Can you imagine a Pedro Pascal head sculpt? Should they have included that in this?
I think it would have been great. I think it would have been probably the sales would have been great. Once they saw the final product, they would have thought, you know what, let's go pick it up for ourselves. Now, since I think we can all agree, this is one of the most, maybe the most popular line when it comes to Star Wars, The Mandalorian. They're milking this line till it's done, you know. And I do believe that this is not our last quarter scale Mando. What I do believe, we're going to get another like Beskar Mando situation. We're like, oh, here's the second Mando with the chrome plated armor, head sculpt, spear, and then we're going to get to that all back to that situation where it's like all Beskar Mando 1/6 scale situation. So what I think is, this is not the last Mando in 1/4 scale. I think we're going to get a second one with the Pedro Pascal head sculpt. Just watch. It's going to happen. Just this line is so popular, and I just don't. I could see them doing a second one. It's business. It's funny. So
I totally agree. It was crossing my mind as I was going through this week. I was saying to myself, Lane, they didn't chrome plate this. They didn't give us a yellow lightsaber like they did with the Rey and surprise us with things. They didn't give us a head sculpt with this. And the first thing I said to myself is what KG is saying. They're going to whoop on us another quarter scale, and they're getting this one out of here before they do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, can you honestly, I mean, that makes, I think there's a certain level of businesses where if this one pre-ordered at least decently so, and I think with Book of Boba and Season 3 Mando, like kind of the Mando universe part of Star Wars is on the rise. So let me just ask, just playing kind of fantasy thing here. Can you imagine, so you've got a Chrome Mando like this, maybe it doesn't come with Grogu, maybe it's a Season 3. Something like a Mandalore based one. So we might see more a base where we're going to see like different Mando helmets, like the armor, Bo-Katan, maybe Koskari, or the heavy infantry Mando. You could have a base kind of like that, but you're going to see different Mando helmets with him in the dark saber being in different poses on top of it or something. Just kind of shooting with kind of using how this one is.
And you see right there, Lane. I think, you know, there are possibilities that we could see a second Mando with a second base, a second variation of this base. I mean, it's possible. I mean, right now, Star Wars, Mandalorian, and now with Book of Boba Fett, who knows? A 1/4 scale repaint Boba Fett might come. Never know.
Never know. And Anthony, let me ask this to you. And El Professoro says, another Mando in 1/4? That's a bit of a reach. So before I ask Anthony on that, let me address that, El Professoro. Another Venom? Is that a reach? Look, if everybody buys this quarter scale Mandalorian, the ones that are going to buy it, El Professoro, if they come out with one with a Pedro Pascal head sculpt that's chrome plated, just like we all needed the 1/6 version, Beskar and OG Mando, we're buying the chrome plated. The quarter scale, they're going to milk this, baby. I think KG is on. I get your point, but let's see what Anthony's take is on that.
It's hard because I mean we're all gonna say everything's possible, right? And then and to KG's point, like they are gonna milk this, they are. But I mean, same with El Professor Mario here. I think it is a little bit of a stretch right now, anyway, because if you look back on our quarter scale histories, we really only have one of everything. You know, I mean they've done the reissue, I think, with the Dark Knight, but for the most part, there's like one. Like we still just have a Boba Fett. So I don't know. Quarter scale Venom, I guess
they just did also earlier this year the reissue of the Mark 43. I think it is.
I think one of the Iron Mans, but the reissue rather, than like multiple. So I don't know, but like they probably will do another quarter scale, but I don't think it's going to be soon. I think this one will probably be sold out before, maybe 3 years from now.
If anything, Season 3, I would think so. We'll get another quarter scale. I don't think we're going to quarter scale just because this is the second season, and I don't think they will do another season.
Yeah, no, I don't think.
And they're expensive. I mean, in general, even to produce.
Right. So I think Season 3 we could possibly see another quarter scale Chrome, like what we're saying right now. So it's very likely we'll get another quarter scale.
I agree. But that base is sick.
Yeah, and I'm just pulling this back up on the screen, Peyton. This base is sick. I almost want to get this just for the base.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is really nice.
Enable stream mode activated.
Yeah, and speaking of, if and when they do come out with another quarter scale, we're not going to have to get that base anymore.
Or the gun.
You know, probably not. Yeah, so this is all exclusive to just this.
Yeah, I mean, just look at that.
To Aries in the panel here. Sorry, one question. You would say for this, if you're going to get it, you need, even though it's a little bit more, you would go, if you're going to get this, you probably really need to go deluxe, don't you? Wouldn't you think with this?
I always thought whenever it comes to anything Hot Toys, I think go big or go home. That's always been my thing.
I mean, if you're going to spend this money,
I agree.
Might as well spend a little extra money. So I'm on. Yeah.
And Peyton, let me go to you. What are the selling points, I think, of this set? And it was brought up earlier. And I'm glad that they're offering little Grogu here on its own. What do you think of the Grogu here? I think that this is phenomenal. It's very hard, I would think, as good as Hot Toys is, to create a 6-scale Grogu that's going to have this type of articulation. Now, I can't wait to see with the Ahsoka Tano and Grogu. That one is supposed to have articulation on it.
Yeah.
So, and I think that the Luke one is as well. I can't wait to see how good that's going to be. But even though this is going to be out of scale, it will be out of scale. Let's not kid ourselves. However, it's still going to be 2 inches smaller than the Attack of the Clones Yoda. And I think if you're looking to show off a collection, somebody coming in, it could be where it's like, hey, you don't have to get your, magnifying glass. Some people coming in to see it, you could see some detail. Do you think that there's some value here for some collectors that would buy this for their 6-scale collection, or am I all alone on this that I'm doing it?
Now, I'll go out here and say that this might sell out before the quarter scale Mando, because it's like, hey, this is an articulated Grogu with a real outfit, and it's not sculpted, and you can pose him, you can change his ears. This is like a lighter version of the life-size version, and people will get this like to put it on their desk or something like that. I think that this will sell out fast, and that more people will seek this out over the 2-pack.
That's a really good point. KeCo, what is your thoughts on that?
It's the moneymaker is the child, is Grogu. I think with maybe this is just a little bit of a stretch. I think without him being in The Mandalorian, I don't know if it would be as successful as it is. I think they obviously catered to the family and some of the ladies that really like the cute thing. So I think without him in it, I think, it would not be as successful as it is. That's just my opinion once again. I love to give these hot takes. But I think you're right on, is that this is something that is, as you'd mentioned, not having to bust the magnifying glass out. So you can literally see it, and it is posable. That was one of the biggest things that people didn't like about the sideshow version of the life size. And then this one is actually hard plastic as opposed to the rubber of the life size one from Hot Toys. You don't have to worry about any tearing of the face. You don't have to worry about anything like that. And so there's a lot of selling points, and I think price wise it's okay. I mean, granted, it's a lot of money to pay for, something that small, but what you get a pram, you get, soft goods, you get multiple ears and attachments, and I think you come with multiple faces, multiple hands and feet too. I mean, it's almost kind of like a figure arts. It gives you a lot of options there to be able to kind of plug and play. So I think you do have a lot of options there, and I think people will, gravitate towards that, because if you're not going to drop, the $750 or whatever it is for that, I think people will definitely pay the smaller price tag for this.
No, absolutely. And before we go to KG on that, there's 80 in here. Welcome to the Market Show Live. Please go ahead right now, baby, and hit that like button, because Howard needs to watch this. He needs to have his cronies watch this. They need to go ahead and, get all the things that we want for this for sure. But everybody, welcome in. I hope you're having a great weekend and a fabulous Saturday evening. KG,
yeah,
KeCo brings up a great point, and something I didn't even consider, but it was subconsciously I was considering it. When you talk about the sideshow version and even the Hot Toys version that is so big, this one, I feel like the Hot Toys version, if you just collect Hot Toys, it's hard to have it fit in. This one, even though it's out of scale, it fits in because it has the same size base. What do you think on this?
You know what? It might hold some value into it, but I do think, honestly, I'm going to go the opposite way. I think this is going to sit in stock. I just don't see it selling. I honestly don't see it. I mean, for 175, that's a bit pricey for something like this small. For me, you know, I think it does have a place in the collection in some sort of capacity. I think if you can put it next to I don't know, maybe another like 20-inch figure, if there's like, you know, like a Mattel or Black Series figure, if they do another 20-inch Mando or something like that, of course it can go well with that. But honestly, you know, this figure, I mean, it's unique. I have not seen like this when it was first announced. Back then, I'm like, really, they're doing a single Yoda, a Grogu. I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't know how well it will sell. But for me personally, you know, I just think to me that figure will sit for a while. I just don't see it going away. I mean, if you consider the fact that if you look at the other Grogu figures or Grogu stuff from Sideshow, they're still sitting in stock. I mean, they probably made a bunch of these figures because of the hype of this character, and you know, people are considering calling him the new Mickey Mouse of Disney. So I mean, there's a lot of hype with this figure, and I just don't see it selling, and it will sit probably in Sideshow's website for a good amount of time. But eventually, it will sell.
Well, it's two good arguments here. I agree with you and I agree with KeCo. So to me, it's going to be very interesting to keep an eye on it and actually see what's happening. You do have the full scale version that's obviously still in stock. But I actually think, you know, as KeCo and Peyton we're talking about, is it possible that it could also go out of stock because of the novelty of it? We're going to have to keep an eye on it for sure. But go ahead and please hit that like button and subscribe to all these guys and all their channels that are in here. I have the links to Anthony at 6 Scale Mafia in the video description below. Make sure you subscribe to Anthony. I got the link to KeCo in the video description below. Subscribe to him. Peyton from Peytstrick, got the link in there. KG from KG, come on. That's in the video description. I even got Lane's channel. It's just Planet Tatooine. You just have to somehow get a ticket. It's almost as hard as trying to get your tickets to Spider-Man. You know, to get to Planet Tatooine and get the transport.
I've heard that those Tatooine tickets are selling for almost as much as No Way Home. Only 5,000 Tatooine dollars. I don't know what that translates into American, but hopefully, listen, somebody's spending 10,000 on a No Way Home ticket.
Well, listen, with 80 in here, please go ahead and hit that like button. And also don't forget to subscribe to 6 Scale Cantina. Listen, I've got the coffee brewing, baby. We're going to spill some coffee today. Let me know what table you're at. I'll make sure to go and pour it for you. I've got decaf too, right here, my friends. And don't worry, I got the Spotchka Deluxe on special tonight. On special, on tap, baby. Come on, like that Boba Fett 2-pack deluxe. All right, we're going to get into the other topic here that goes right off onto this in just a second. And what that's going to be is 1/6 Chrome Plated Mandalorian. Like now? Like how did this happen? And so, listen, my thoughts on this before I flash what I'm going to flash onto the screen is, do I think that this could happen? Absolutely. Hot Toys has been doing a lot of crazy things, guys. They have been blowing us away. They're changing their business model. They're certainly looking to come out of COVID and try and recoup a lot of that money. Sideshow, as everybody knows, is making a lot of drastic steps to kind of make sure that they're securing their income. So listen, what is the deal with this 1/6 Chrome Plated Mandalorian? Like now, and let's get into that. I'm going to share the screen. And honestly, and let's see if I could pull up this other figure here, this other picture. Once this broke, before the quarter scale Mandalorian broke, like a couple of days earlier, Lane, we saw this picture.
Yep.
And it seemed like that it was like, wow. It was a surprise. But to me, this wasn't a surprise because as I was talking to you guys backstage, this was supposed to come out between October and December. So I guess because it's a quarter scale, it can get delayed a year or two. So maybe that was the surprise. But I was not really surprised on this. But when this came out, it seemed like we were all getting excited because now, hey, by the way, the Chrome Plated Mandalorian is coming out in 1/6. And I'm just like, Why? Where is this? What is your thoughts on that? Do you believe it's coming out? Did you feel the same way I do about this?
Yeah, it was definitely one of the most left field things I've heard about, because I was like, wait, that's supposed to be like October, December of next year. Would I like it to come? Yes. Do I think it's probably coming? No. I mean, I was glad I had my paid off just in case.
Yeah, I mean, that's another issue, right? Wow.
Yeah. So, what I think it would be cool, but if there, some other figures we've heard about that are supposed to be coming in the next 2 or 3 weeks, if they put that one out, I think that might be like, collectors might be hitting the breaking point by that thing, because that's a minimum $330 figure.
I'm pulling it up on the screen, and listen, if you're getting this version, Lane, it's $375, and I am too. And you're budgeting it. I'm budgeting this for the fourth quarter of next year. Always prepared to be a couple of months early when it comes to Hot Toys. But wow, I mean, they threw a whammy on us with the 2-pack Boba Fett, which kind of makes sense because of everything, because of the Book of Boba Fett coming out. But boy, this would be another hefty one.
Yeah, if you had this and the 2-pack of Book of Boba Fett, or the 2-pack of Mando Boba Fett and Ahsoka or whatever, it doesn't matter.
$1,000 for shipping and taxes, probably. I mean, yeah.
I wish you luck, man.
Yeah.
But I'm super excited for this figure. I think it looks amazing. I don't think it would. What I like for this one, I don't think it mattered which version you got. You were going to get most of the accessories that most people are going to want either way. And if it comes out, I'm going to be super happy. If it doesn't come out, or it doesn't come out, because what we're talking about early for this thing, it could come out next June. And guess what? That's still half a year almost earlier than we thought.
That's
it was
early.
Come out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
So, I mean, I do not think it's going to come out, but I will not be like, big bug eye.
I absolutely wouldn't be shocked either. And go to Anthony here with 87 watching. Welcome to the Market Show Live with Aries Tarrington, and we got a great panel in the house. Anthony, I was surprised, and I didn't know it was like, hey, by the way, here's the quarter scale, and then this one's coming. And look, we got the email from Sideshow about the 2-pack Boba Fett. You know what's interesting, Anthony? Here is the thing. Here's why I'm wondering what's going on. Sideshow has been so on top of everything. You noticed that when they went ahead and did the Hot Toys announced the quarter scale Mandalorian, they waited for Sideshow to have their video. Sideshow, when they were put the 2-pack Boba Fett here, they put out an email saying, hey, it's not coming out in June. You got to get ready for it to ship in January, February. Hey, they've been on top of Ahsoka and Clone Wars Mall. You go to Sideshow right now, Anthony. It says December 2021. Both of them say that. They did it with Lando Calrissian. Is Sideshow missing something here? Are they going to miss out on the Chrome Plated Mandalorian? Or what do you think about this?
I don't, it's a good question, because I mean, when you bring up with Lando, we saw that happen live. I mean, basically, right? We saw that, okay, the dates were changed, and then immediately we had this almost simultaneous release. I mean, I think he came out like a week later from overseas. So it was almost a simultaneous. I mean, so going by that, when we look at all these other releases that are being pushed forward, yeah, I mean, they're all coming very, very soon. And as far as this one, I don't know what Sideshow's I don't know if they're doing it with every figure, but I mean,
it might come out at midnight, Anthony.
Yeah, I mean, we never. That's the thing. We don't know. I mean, it's just weird how they've been. I mean, both Hot Toys and Sideshow, they both been just doing weird stuff lately. So I mean, but I know Sideshow's really trying hard to do the simultaneous release, and I think that's probably why we still don't have Ahsoka and Maul. I think, and then they've been done as far as I know.
I agree. I think that's exactly why you don't got Ahsoka and Maul. They want to make sure they put their videos out first. I actually think they're probably stuck at the Bay in California. That's the shipping.
It's either that or they're on the way, because I think as soon as Sideshow has what they need, then it's going to get officially announced on the Hot Toys site. 2 minutes later, the video is going to pop up on Sideshow's site. You know what I mean?
Yep,
So
that's the way it's going.
yeah,
And
it's had past few months.
And you know what's interesting, KeCo? With the 2-pack Boba Fett, and that has a hefty price tag for the 2-pack. This has a hefty price tag too. They really wanted to warn people who pre-ordered that, that hey, this is coming out early, and they sent out that email. I haven't seen anything on this. That doesn't mean it's not coming out. I'm kind of like 50-50. I'm kind of like, this could come out at midnight. Maybe they misinterpreted this, and it's actually the Mandalorian or the Grogu that's coming out, and someone just said Mando, and it got confused. Maybe they're both coming out. Maybe all the Mandalorian and the Grogus are coming out. Maybe KeCo, one of the things here, besides all this, and comment on it, is, they're coming out with a lot of Spider-Mans, and they're coming out with Spider-Mans, before the movie even comes out. Maybe they want to get this out now because, there's about 21 Spider-Mans on pre-order now or in stock. There's all of it. And you got over 25 Iron Mans, Tony Starks that are in pre-order in stock. You got 3 Captain Marvels in pre-order or in stock. Maybe with the Mandalorian, you just got one version, and now you got this version. Maybe they're going to put out a bunch more. They want to release this.
Yeah, there's a lot that you can take in, and I'll simply report and you decide on what's true and what's not. But I think there is definitely some smoke to the fire of, is Sideshow now playing their hand to where they've negotiated to where it does not release overseas until they have theirs. And if that's the case, that makes sense because the exact same email with this came out for Ahsoka, and we don't have Ahsoka saying, so Ahsoka's coming. Same thing with Batwoman. It's coming, and it never came. So it makes me wonder if they're saying, okay, we'd love to release this now, but we don't have it sitting in our warehouse yet. It's sitting in the ports, and we all know what's going on in the ports currently.
Right.
All that being said, is that, could it be coming? Sure. Is it possible, as you love to always say? I'd say yes, absolutely, because if you think about this, of what they have to retool, it's just simply a repaint, and that's all they have to have. It's not
with
like
Chrome.
It's Chrome. And going back to the Boba Fett 2-pack, the accessories are from the 2-pack that he's carrying there. There is the helmet, there is the backpack, so there's not much that has to really go into it. We have a bazillion Grogus. I think the only retooling is that they have to do that thigh plate and then make a few other little accessories. So it's not out of the realm of possibility, especially when you had mentioned that, the black and gold Spider-Man came out of nowhere and just released and dropped. So I think that it definitely can. I know some people are talking about, is that going to upset some collectors and break them simply because that is too much at one point? Potentially, but I think that's a decision that you need to make for yourself, and I think that's why some of these distributors give those payment plan options and such, so that you can make the best decision for yourself. But yes, Aries, I definitely think it is possible, but until we actually see that there's something more, once Ahsoka comes, then I'll start actually believing this one. But until she shows up, I'm still going to hold my breath on this.
Yeah, no, I'm right with you. I'm kind of 50-50 on it, but I almost feel like it goes with something that I've been feeling, Peyton, that I really feel like they're going to put out a lot more figures. And, I put out some videos on some of the figures that I think are going to be waitlisted. And I even gave it till the end of March. And then I showed everybody what's in there. And I flashed on one of my regular market chart shows, like a bunch of these figures and over. It's like a half-hour part of the show. I said, okay. And with everything that was still going to be on pre-order, by the way, everybody, by the end of March, with everything that I just took a half hour to show you, there's only 75 items for Star Wars on pre-order or in stock, and it pales in comparison to everything Marvel. So you have to wonder here, is it something are they going to come out with this because they actually do want to put out a Mandalorian with the tank trooper outfit? They want to put out the Mayfield. They want to get out a duo. They want to get out a different Mandalorian before the Mandalorian season 3 in the third quarter. They're certainly on a track right now to be releasing figures before the movies come out and the shows come out. You have to wonder if they're like, look, the Mandalorian's hot. Let's get 5 or 6 of these out in the market right now.
Well, basically, just if a figure's coming out next year, it's going to release now. And if a figure's supposed to come out now, it's going to come out next year. That's kind of the trend they're going with here. But no, I agree.
Don't say that on Ahsoka. No, I need her now, baby.
I agree. But I like what you said. They probably will try to push this out to get it with the tank trooper, because then they're gonna tease that with the final product photos. They're going to tease that with the head sculpt, and people are going to be like, oh, I need to buy this right now. And then it's going to just sell out. It's Hot Toys. You know what they do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you mean the transport trooper?
Yeah, the transport trooper. My bad.
Yeah. And going to you, KG, your thoughts on all of this when I'm coming up over here. I if they come out with this before Ahsoka, if they come out with this before the Clone Wars ball, if they come out with this before the Clone Wars Anakin, I'm just surprised, especially with how hot the Clone Wars is right now. And I personally think that, boy, you would have so many months of pre-orders on this. To me, this is the definitive Mandalorian. This base, or the way it looks right there, like it comes with, Boba Fett's armor. You got the Grogu. You got all the stuff. You got the head sculpt. It's chrome plated, baby. Are you kidding me? I really feel like if they come out with this now, they're probably going to give us another couple of Mandalorians like Spider-Man's.
Yeah, I mean, it's the definitive version for now until we get season 3, and then we'll see if it's going to be the definitive version. But honestly, it seems like Hot Toys are changing their priorities. It seems like slowly. I mean, we're seeing that we're not getting like Pennywise or some of these figures that are supposed to come out. I mean, 3 years ago, I think that Pennywise was announced 3 years ago. So it's their priorities are really changing. I mean, they're very behind on figures right now. And this was a shocker to me, Aries, because a couple of weeks ago, Jeddah actually posted a video, his 6-scale news video, and he actually said that there was a Chrome Mando in the thumbnail. I'm like, what? I was like, there's no way. I mean, this thing was announced like what, 5-6 months ago, and then I'm like, yeah, there's no way. Somebody just wants to get famous out there, like, oh yeah, it's coming. So, so what I think is that after a couple of weeks passed, and I'm seeing this 1/4 scale Mando being released, like, oh, great, it's on schedule. Then I see this text going like 1/6 Mando Chrome releasing next week. I'm like, okay, maybe it's not a joke. And then because then it sucks for people, because I know there's a lot of people out there that did not expect this.
So it has steam. You're thinking like KeCo said, where there's smoke, where there's smoke, there's fire. That this could be coming. Because really, I really think, guys, with 101 in here, and it's great to have the 6-scale scavengers in the house, Chris Letty in the house, checking in on the Cantina. Great convo, gents. Great having you in here, Chris. We got to get you and Brian and get you guys in here for sure. That'd be great to have the scavengers in here. Awesome, but good to have you in here. Fabio checking in. Good to have Fabio in here as well with 104. I feel like this may be, if I see this come out, and I'm going to go to Anthony with this. Anthony, if I see this come out, and I know you check out my videos, and you even check out some of my insider stuff where I kind of expand on a lot of analysis. This clearly tells me then that there certainly are going to go to more production, maybe less volumes, and just get a lot of these things out. Maybe we are going to get an ending credit scene Mandalorian like the Black Series did. Maybe we are going to get a carbonized Mandalorian like they did with the Black Series. Maybe we are going to get a prototype Mandalorian. Maybe they're just going to start putting a lot of these things out for Star Wars.
Neon Tech Mando.
Neon Tech Mando. There you go, KeCo.
No, and I absolutely agree. I mean, we all know how many releases, or let's just say how many announcements they've had so far, right? So how much we already have announced that's not even out yet, plus everything that's yet to come with the new shows and in the new seasons. So to me, I think they're really trying to play catch up. I think that's why we've been seeing a lot of these releases being pushed forward, and possibly in less quantity because of that very reason, and because they have so much coming. Because remember, Hot Toys is just creating the stuff, but Disney's the one that's producing all this and coming up with characters, things like that. So I think Hot Toys is to tell you the truth, I think they're a little in over their head. I think there's way too. I mean, that's just Star Wars. We're talking about Marvel. Let's not even forget DC. Is that even still around? I mean, like, they're so behind that. Yeah, I think they're going to start doing smaller batches to catch up. And that may be indefinitely, or it could just be a temporary situation until they're caught up. Because it's weird. Like you said, we got the black and gold Spider-Man announced. Boom, he's out. The Cyborg Spider-Man was kind of close, right? They announced it wasn't too long. It was out.
These are on here. I'm going to flash them all up for you. All 21.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane.
Look at this.
They keep coming out with more and more announcements, but they're so far behind on all these other figures from all these franchises. So, yeah, I think we're going to start seeing a lot of smaller batch runs just so they can play catch up and then kind of go from there. So some of these are going to be difficult because I don't think they're going to be on shelves for very long. A lot of low run figures.
I really believe that as well. I feel that's where they're going. Lane, going to you. You see all these Spider-Mans that they have out there. Listen, Spider-Man, Tom Holland, the movie's hot. But listen, and they have all these Iron Mans that keep coming out with Iron Man, not as hot. Endgame is over. Infinity War is over. You know what's hot? The Mandalorian is hot. It's still hot. It's still the number one show. And it's steaming. It's a stream that's steaming, baby. Look, just like this coffee. I'll bring it up right over here. And I wonder, Lane, if coming out of COVID and dealing with the shipping situations, not having, a lot of drivers out, to drive these things going on, with the shipping ports as well. And just, shipping in general, things going on with labor and supply chain. I can go on and on and on and on. And I'm wondering, if they're like, hey, the Mandalorian's hot, Disney Plus is not going to slow down. Is it possible that we're going to see where you see 21 Spider-Mans? Can you see a day where you have 3 Mandalorians up on pre-order, like Captain Marvel? What say you?
I hope not. But
I think you're gonna.
Yeah, well, I mean, just think about it, though. I can definitely see maybe some different Mandos up. It could be some even lasting for a little while, just because like you said, there are tons of Iron Mans. Iron Mans used to usually sell out eventually, and not sit there for 2 or 3 years, like some have now. Mm-hmm. But if not just Mando, the Mando Din Djarin himself, we're going to be seeing figures related to either properties or Grogu or whatever, we're going to see multiples of different characters from that show. We might see a couple of Bo-Katans, or another armor, or I know you've mentioned.
Well, sure. I mean, Katie Sackhoff's going to be a major player, a major actress coming up in Mandalorian season 3. So I definitely get different versions.
Or you mentioned heavy infantry. That's when you can see, maybe we'll get a John Favreau. Yeah, I know you're kind of pie in the sky a little bit, maybe, but we can see we can see a heavy.
I enjoy my pie. Listen, and I wash it down with this.
Yeah, or we can see it. I know you said, and I it's not something like I go 100%. I can see it, but it would be neat to see like a heavy infantry Mando, which is actually John Favreau, takes off the helmet. It's John Favreau, with maybe a patch over his eye, so it looks like Deathstroke, because he's a battle-hardened guy or something. Yeah. But I can see, I don't know if I'll ever see as many like Spider-Man, because as popular as Din Djarin is, he's not Spider-Man around the world. But could we see multiple versions of him, maybe different, like you said, neon tech, or maybe we eventually get a some kind of light die-cast figure.
Ending credits. The Black Series is going nuts with all these. And Peyton, let's go to you. Your impressions when you're seeing about, hey, this chrome-plated Mandalorian. And you have to wonder if that actual rumor is true. I mean, like I was saying, maybe midnight tonight, maybe next week, maybe before the Clone Wars Mall, maybe before the 2-pack Boba Fett. And does that tell you a story about, what other Mandalorian figures they can be releasing when you look at something like this here?
Absolutely. If you look at this top row on the Spider-Man page, and you look on the 2 far right, that is the same exact figure, just one is dirty, and look at that price difference. They're going to throw these little items in there, and they're going to change it a little bit, and they're going to milk that price tag. They're willing to do that. And then you look at the 2 on the left, they're the same exact figure, just a base. And they'll do stuff like that and double the price with just a base. So we could see different variations of Mando. And I mean, if you look at what Marvel Legends does, where they have like the build a figure where you can get an accessory or a piece and then you can slowly build up. Like you see that Spider-Man figure, he's got that cube. People are going to want that for their Doctor Strange when they come out with the Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to buy that figure to get that. And I think that's kind of the route they're going for with Star Wars, Spider-Man, and even DC if they continue that line, which it doesn't really seem like they are too much. But it's interesting for sure.
That's a great point. Before we get to KeCo on this, let's get to KG. What is your impressions on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think Mando is slowly but surely coming. It's going to be the next Iron Man, Spider-Man, most likely Spider-Man. I think Peytstrick brought up a good point because I mean, look at those 4-2 Spider-Mans. They're the same exact suit, just with small minor details, and one comes with a big base and that price difference. So
just different variations.
Right. So I do think that we will be getting another Chrome Mando 1/6 scale, but battle damage. Who knows? They can do a sideshow exclusive.
That's a good point. When you said battle damage, that right there.
I mean, they could do that with what's it called, the sideshow exclusive with the season 1 Mando, where we get to see him get exploded, and he's all dirty and messed up. These small variations, man, it would sell. Yeah. I mean, look at Spider-Man. Look how well they're selling. I mean, Mando is the next Spider-Man for them, so they can milk as much as they want. So, yeah.
Yep. KeCo, I see you. You're nodding your head and listening here. Let me get your thoughts on this with the Chrome Plated Mandalorian possible release and everything on top of that.
Yeah, the main point I think that we need to take into consideration is the market and who ultimately this is going to. And Spider-Man is, without a doubt, it goes back and forth between Batman and Spider-Man, is the most popular superhero in the world. And their market is obviously catered to those where they're going to sell. If you look at all the different pieces that they put out for DC versus Marvel, I mean, it's overwhelmingly for Marvel. But then I would love to see how much the difference is for Spider-Man versus Mandalorian and what the love of whatever those are is in that country. I'd love to kind of see what that is. But as you had mentioned, the Black Series is really taking advantage of the variants, if you want to call it that, where you have the Mudhorn version, you have the Ice version, you have the I think they call them build-up packs or whatever they call them. There's all kinds of options that you can take that is relatively, I would say, cost effective to be able to just make for them and to make a few edits, because the undersuit's not going to change. The weapons aren't going to change. Small little paint differences here and there, and just kind of repack it. I mean, it makes sense to me. But then you get the the diehard collectors, and who are you going to market it to? Are you going to market it for the people that want that niche version to say, oh, I got them all now? Or are you going to make it just kind of the wide variety of, okay, I have a Mando on my shelf? And I don't know exactly who they're really driving that towards. Obviously, there was those hardcore collectors that love to get every single one, but I mean, I'm probably only going to keep 1 or 2 Mandalorians. I don't want a multitude of them, in my personal opinion. I have way too many Spider-Man already, so maybe I'm preaching to the choir here. I don't know, but I would kind of love to see what their ultimate end game plan is for real.
No, makes sense.
And which is going to bring me to my next segment, but putting up here from Duck Collector, and welcome to everybody in here. We got 108 at the Market Show live right now. I am the Dark Jedi, Aries Terrington. Guess what I'm doing? I'm surfing up all the Star Wars Hot Toys talk along with these guys. Go subscribe to them all. You can't subscribe to Lane, but you can get a ticket where Lane lives on Planet Tatooine, baby. Very close to the cantina.
Hey, Aries, when we're talking about different variations of Mando, Josh Spence brought up a good idea. I'm shocked that we haven't had a Mudhorn battle version of Mando yet.
Yes.
We've talked about that on here before.
Yeah,
I was looking for that chat again in here. Let's see. I saw the one you're talking about, but that is a good point. And that's probably, I mean, what's the chances of that not coming out, KG? At this point, from what we're talking
I mean, look,
about.
they're doing Mando. Like I said, we said before, Mando is the next Spider-Man. Look, right now, that movie Spider-Man we already have 3 Spider-Man from that film, and the movie hasn't come out yet. So I mean, we're gonna have multiple Spider-Man from that film, multiple villains. I mean, once the season 3 Mando comes around the corner, we're gonna get at least 3 Mandos or something like that. It's gonna be crazy. Aries.
All right. So listen, KG, let's stay with you. We're going to go into the next segment, which kind of ties into this. Let's all assume that this rumor is true, and the Chrome Plated Mandalorian is going to be out here over the next few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
If that is true, what others can release early if Hot Toys is going down this vein? So I'm going to pull this up onto the screen. And you tell me if you can see this coming out months earlier than the official release date or earlier in general.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is gonna come out early. I mean, that when is the release date? April to June, I believe, 2022. Yeah, you're looking at probably February. I would say February, something like that. I mean, look, that Mando, OG Mando, they've already made it. It looks amazing. It's phenomenal. There's no need change. There's no changes that needs to be made. The only thing that needs to be made is that blurg. That's it. And I think this will be a fast and I would say a very low batch release, because I don't think a lot of people were really hyped about this. I think more people were angry about this because of that OG Mando. But I do believe that this will come out pretty soon for sure. And it's an easy figure to make, and that whole blurg thing, yeah, it's going to be an easy one.
Let me go to
that. It's definitely a possibility that it comes early because of that low batch. If we're going with that idea of they're just going to do low batches to try to get caught up on these, this once again is a shelf presence issue. And as I've said with me, the bigger the figure, the harder it is for people to put it into their displays. And so I would love to know, I wish we could just pull back the curtain and be able to see kind of what all the analytics are, what people are thinking, what their plans are, because I would love to know what the pre-orders for the blurg is, because there's the blurg, there's the Mando blurg, there's the Queel blurg. I mean, there's 3 blurgs out there, and so obviously they thought they would sell them. So, I mean, I would love to see that, but this is a display issue for me simply because of the size. If you're going to put him on there, you're going to have to raise a DTOF shelf. You're going to have all kinds of situations to go along with that. So I'm very, very interested to see if they do throw this one out soon.
I mean, if anything, I think that Queel with the blurg will have more batches, just because it's Queel and the blurg. It's much more famous than Mando with the blurg.
Yeah, guys, and KeCo and KG, if you're wondering where this is, and I'll bring it up later, the blurg by itself and the blurg with this Mandalorian is down by the Jet Trooper. Matter of fact, the Sith Jet Trooper, I think, is ahead of it, if you're wondering where it is.
If that's the case, that is insanity. I had no idea about that.
It's
now
been around.
That's tough.
It's been around. Tough. It's around like what the transport trooper has been forever and a day. I think it's been behind it even a little bit.
Well, absolutely, Lane. Let me go, Peyton. I'm going to go with you with the next one then. If we're saying the Chrome Plated Mandalorian is going to come out the next 3 to 4 weeks, okay. So everyone's kind of thinking that, or once that this one's possible. Let's go to another one here. Would this be possible? And I can kind of set this up a little bit. And I'm going to be talking about this on the Aries Tarrington show coming up this week. So just everybody who's watching here live, the Aries Tarrington show is going to be coming out this week along with another market chart show. But the Aries Tarrington show, my special guest will be Brother Cousins. So you definitely want to go check Jay and me out on that. And we're going to be talking about the very, very strong rumors, and you're going to probably hear a lot about this at Celebration next year, about how they're actually going to start off the Mandalorian season 3. And if you're thinking, I'll just put it to you this way, that Grogu and Luke are not going to be in it, they just signed Mandalorian, they just signed Mark Hamill again, think again, because there's going to be a lot of focus on making sure that people know, the casual fans, that Grogu is absolutely still going to be in it so that they get their watching money out of this. But going to this, what do you think? I mean, could this come out early? Because one of the rumors that is out there is the Mandalorian season 3 actually opens up with Grogu assembling a lightsaber, training with Luke at his Jedi temple, whichever Jedi temple that is. If we're talking about different versions, is this the only version then we're going to get of Luke and Grogu, or are they going to milk this like Spider-Man?
Damn, I hope you're right. I really do, because I mean, this is just a heartwarming moment for all Star Wars fans. Like, this is what we wanted to see, and we didn't even know we needed it, but it happened, and we're all happy with it. I think you're right. I think that we're going to see him. He's going to have a bigger role in The Mandalorian season 3. They're going to get this figure out because they know people want this figure. And I mean, October 2022, I mean, we're not that far away. Like, I mean, this will come in no time. I see this releasing probably July, August at the earliest, to be honest. I mean, sometime around there. And it may come earlier than that. We may get it in like May the 4th. That'd be a great May the 4th release. We'll just have to see.
Yeah, Anthony, going to you. I mean, if they're going to release the Mandalorian, I understand that this is not the Mandalorian, but it is Luke and it is Grogu. They're going to make more Grogus. They're going to, they're working on, improving the CGI. Also, obviously,
Mhm.
they're electing to go from the latest word. They're electing to go with Mark Hamill right now and working on the CGI part of it. So, I mean, uh, I don't know if this is going to be the definitive one or they're going to come out with multiples of this.
I guess we're gonna have to see if he's gonna be in the show, like confirmed, and if there's something different going on. Because as you know, Hot Toys, if it's in a show or a movie, they'll make it most likely. So I mean,
Yes,
but I agree.
and then you hit it right there.
Yeah, it's if he's.
We were talking about that last night. Not to stop you there, but people
Mhm.
were asking about Doc Ock or the Green Goblin. Are you kidding me? With the way that they're doing these Spider-Mans right now, and the way Hot Toys is, they're going to come out with those villains.
I hope Hot Toys has a bad habit of not making villains or not making enough. So I'm hoping we get them. I will say that this price point's pretty good too for that Luke. I think 285 is not bad. I mean, I know there's not like a whole lot in there, but it is a new body, new sculpt. It is.
You get
it
a
is
Grogu.
That, yeah, and a Grogu. I think that's going to be a definitive Luke. In comparison to what we already have. That was such an awesome scene that I just it'll probably come early, and I would say just to quick rewind the whole thing with the blurg. I think because the blurg's very easy to make. It's just a mold. Once they get it going, they're going to mass produce that thing. Now I think the blurg's going to be out for a while. But I think the numbers for the two combo packs, those will probably be a little bit low run. But I figured that's why they just did it anyway, because it's so easy to make this blurg. They're like, well, might as well make this combo pack, sell this one on its own, and so they'll be around. But I don't think those are going to be going off the shelves like quick though. As everybody's pointed out, it's the issue of the real estate. It's too big. Where are you going to put it? Unless you have Moji case or custom cases. It's going to be a pain for DTOFs, but it's cool because they don't make a lot of creatures, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I don't want to crowd everyone's faces. This is a big one here, but single songwriter Chrome Mando may be released because he has a scene coming in the Book of Boba. It is a marketing play for Chrome Mando, most likely dropping with Fennec during the week of the premiere. That's some sound prediction from single songwriter. I could see that happening. I could see this being the case with 110 watching Lane. And Lane, going to you, let me actually go to this then. If they're going to be releasing the Chrome Plated Mandalorian, let's go to another one. I'll bring this one up to you.
You're following up after the blurg and Luke. Oh,
do we have to wait for this release date? When's this one? Let me look here. October next year, just like the Chrome Plated Mandalorian. If the Chrome Plated Mandalorian comes out the next few weeks, are we waiting till October next year, Lane? It's a hard one.
This is also one I'm glad I already have paid off.
And this is another heavy one. It's $390.
Yeah,
but really, it's more than that because you got to get Fennec with it.
Yeah, and also, I'm not sure with this one. This one's harder for me to read. I can see this one still coming next year just because with the throne and it's a bigger item and stuff. But I mean, with just even everything we've had, even though they were troopers, we had the shore troopers come 2 or 3 months earlier than originally it was expected. I mean, the Boba obviously here has some similar parts to what we had with the repainted, obviously not looking like it's covered in bird poop like the other one. But
well, the show's going to be hot, Lane. The show's going to be really, really hot. I really think that they're going to knock it out of the park. I don't think we've seen anything except what they're going to have in the first episode.
I think Book of Boba, if Book of Boba goes over really well, there's a lot of hype. People really, if the series is really good over the first couple months or something next year, I mean, I could maybe see in the summer this could get released, in Hong Kong, and then we get it in early July, August or something, a little bit ahead of time, because it's going to depend too what they've got lined up, for where they might have some, January to March 2023 figures, maybe, some Book of Boba figures, or I don't know, Obi-Wan or whatever,
Mm.
that they might have in that time frame that might kind of get snuck up for holiday season 2022. And they might
With all
say,
that
hey,
being said, though, is that if you keep pushing these or whatever may come to the front of the line, something in the pipeline has to take a back seat. And
That's
it
right.
makes you wonder, what is it going to be and what property is it going to be? Because then you have to, if you're in their world, you're kind of gambling on, am I going to miss sales on something that ends up, popping off? If they move a Star Wars figure up, is another Star Wars figure take a back seat? I don't think they would ever move a Marvel figure to the back of the line. But I wonder, what takes the back seat if these move up? There's only so many hours in a day,
Yeah, no, and that's a good point, guys. And KeCo, let me go with you and ask you this then. If they're wondering what's going to go ahead and take the back seat, it's real interesting to me because I almost feel like it goes back and ties back in, KeCo, that they're just going to do all these different variants and come out with lower production numbers because of exactly what you're saying. Maybe what they're looking to do is they're thinking in their mind, hey, Endgame is over, Infinity War is over, it's going to get back to that, but right now this is just as robust as Marvel. So while let's get it where Marvel is while it's hot. We don't know how hot it's going to be forever.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely right about that, because that's an interesting point to make, is that Endgame is over. And the last piece that they need is the battle damaged Mark 85, which I think they decided that, hey, we need to go to the drawing board at this, because I know there was a lot of negative reviews about initial looks that they were displaying on that. So that's a topic for another time. But they may have looked at the slate of the Phase 4 schedules for Marvel, and they say, you know what? I don't know if, Black Widow and Yelena and Doctor Strange, if they're going to be able to carry our pipeline. And so they may have said, okay, let's go all in on Star Wars. So I think you definitely have a really good point there, that maybe they are going to capitalize, because they have hot things on the Star Wars plate. And right now it's kind of, it's kind of like what they teased with the Eternals. They teased like one little piece and then you never heard from it again. And so maybe that's what they're looking at. You're like, we'll put these Eternals on the shelf, Phase 4 figures. We'll wait and see, just kind of see how it is. But until then, let's move up, because Mando's popping, like you said.
Well, and welcome everybody who's in here. 114 at the Market Show Live, baby, on a Saturday night. JB Collection in the house. Hi, everyone, and welcome to all of you that are in there. I am the Dark Jedi, Aries Tarrington, and I'm serving up all the coffee, all the regular, all the decaf. Look at how full this thing is, baby. Look, if you want the whole pot, you can just drink it like this. Come on. I am telling you. All right, so listen. This should be a lot of fun. And before I go ahead and start this off, I'm going to go back to how I began the show for the pleasure of those that are watching. And let me go ahead and play the scene.
We would be honored if you would join us.
I had no choice. They arrived right before you did. I'm sorry.
Listen, I'm not sorry, because I got the darn figure. And you all know how hot I am on these Star Wars figures. So let's go ahead and have some fun. We're going to go into a different segment here and kind of get back to some of the Mando stuff. But I'm going to pull this up on the screen in a banner so everybody knows what segment this is. And this is Aries's 2021 Top 10 Star Wars Hot Toys for this year. And we're going to get KeCo and Peyton and KG's and Anthony and Lade's take. And then also, guys, you can, I'm going to go through these, give me your impressions on the figure itself, anything that you felt about the figure this year. And I'm going to keep ranking them up, and then we could discuss what your guys is as well. But without further ado, let's have some fun. And everybody in the chat too, you tell me. And listen, I will preface this like this. Every Star Wars hot toy that got released this year is awesome. They're all awesome. So if I was reviewing it, they would probably all get a 9 out of 10. So you would not want to watch my reviews. They would all be 9 out of 10. How do you get lower than a 7 anyway? But this is my impression on this. So let's go ahead and get going. So not all of them are going to fit on here because they came out with quite a few. But drum roll, please. I should have a drum roll. My number 10, going up from number 10 to number 1, is this release. Scout Trooper and Speeder Bike. Awesome release, Anthony. This is my number 10. What do you think about that? Would this figure make your top 10?
For the year? Yeah, absolutely. I own this figure. You know, I that and the IG-11, I got the combo. Well, you know what I mean. I got both of them just because of that. And no, I love it. I love, well, you know me, I love troopers for one, and I love vehicles and creatures, all that stuff that we don't normally get. So this was a no-brainer for me. It still kind of got that, I don't know, there's still a little taste in my mouth about how they just right after announced the Return of the Jedi version, but that's okay. That's, you know, what Hot Toys does, so, you know, I'll probably get that too. But no, I agree. This is definitely on my list as well.
Let's go to Peyton. Peyton, this made my top 10. This is my number 10 Star Wars Hot Toy release for 2021. Now, obviously, I don't think we're done with releases, baby, but we'll get into that when I get to my number 1. What do you think about this?
This thing is cool. I personally did not buy this because I wanted to wait for the Return of the Jedi one, and I did pre-order that. But this was cool because, I mean, it was cool to finally see Scout Troopers again in Star Wars, and it's obviously a very funny scene, too. So, I mean, yeah, this is easily a top 10 of the year, I'd say.
You surprised by this, KJ, or easily for Star Wars? This is my, and by the way, this is my Star Wars Hot Toys top 10, so you don't have to worry about Mysterio or anything else. This is just Star Wars we're talking about.
No. This is well placed. I mean, yeah, I'm with Peytstrick. Like, I love this figure, but I'm gonna wait for the Return of the Jedi just because I love Return of the Jedi. I love that sort of fight between, you know, Luke and Leia and the speeder bike. But yeah, it's well placed. I mean, seeing the reviews on this figure, it was a phenomenal release, and yeah, I don't blame you. Don't blame you one bit.
All right, well, let's go to number 9. And let me get to it here. Make sure I don't put up the wrong one. And I am going to go with KeCo on this. My number 9 top figure for Star Wars in 2021 is this.
I think that's a little dangerously low for me. That is one of my top figures of 2021. And my next video I have coming out on YouTube are my top 10 videos, or my top 10 figures. And so this one's a little higher on my list personally, mainly because the shelf presence is really cool. I love
awesome.
All the different effects in it. You know, the ticking time bomb is fantastic. The bandolier, the posability, including the articulation in the fingers, is what really sold it to me. And if you've seen the sideshow IG-88, I mean, this is a million times better than that. So yes, I definitely think it's a top 10 figure. A little disappointed, man, that you put him this low. But yeah, I'm all over on this one.
Well, KeCo, we'll see, because you'll have to see what I put above it, baby, right? Let me go to Lane on this. Lane, you surprised I have this at number 9?
No, I think this kind of is where it should be at, because I think we've had some other releases for other characters I live here. He's a unique figure. I got him too, and then before I even ever got to take him out of the plastic of the box, because the next day after I got him from Sideshow, someone said, "Hey, I'll trade you direct to clinic for IG-11."
Oh,
true story.
And I said, "So
wait, wait. Did you actually get a direct to credit for your IG-11?"
Mm-hmm.
Correct. It was.
Are you kidding me?
That's a hell of a steal.
No way. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That is awesome.
Can you reach out to that guy and tell him if he has another credit, I'll trade him my IG-11 as well.
Yeah.
Well, he's actually on a group that he and I are both in, because he does a lot of customs. Like, he was just finishing for someone like some Clone Commandos and stuff, the Delta Squad and stuff that were amazing looking. But
nice.
But I will tell you, even though I ended up doing that, I had to sit there and think about it for a second still, because because they're so different. Any droid figure like K2SO or IG-11 are so different than the more normal human characters that we see Hot Toys make. 2 years from now, when this guy's gone, I might be looking at it a little bit different. It's hard to tell with some of these figures. So I might be going, hey, Aries, that IG-11, that thing's really just burning a hole in your collection. You don't really need it. So
you can always buy another one right now.
Well, that's true. That was the other thing too.
But you're okay with this being at number 9. Let me go to KG. This is my number 9. Scout Trooper bike was 10. This is 9.
I am disappointed, Aries. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, look, for me personally, this is my top 5 when it comes to my whole collection, actually. Not just Star Wars, Marvel, DC. This is my top 5 favorite figure. It's definitely one of those figures where it's so unique, and we'll never get this back. Unless if IG-88 pops up or any IG units in Book of Boba Fett, then it will be a different story. But this figure, if you have the OG Mando, pairing this guy up with that just goes so well. It's awesome. It's amazing.
And it's different. It's different, KG. It's different for Hot Toys. They nailed this.
For sure. And honestly, I'm so glad that people that have this in the collection, because I think this will be a grail one day for sure.
Oh, it absolutely will. Anthony, this is my number 9. Did this make your top 10? Too low for you? Too high?
Yeah. He's there in the top 10 for me. I don't think yours is necessarily too low. I think mine would maybe be a little higher, but not by much. Like maybe like a 7 or 6 on my top 10. I love them, just like everybody on the panel so far has said. It is a great figure. It's no doubt probably going to be a grail. Even if they do come out with another IG unit, it's still IG-88 or it's still IG-11. So it's directly involved with our first Mandalorian. So I mean, no, it's a great figure, and being able to pair it with the speeder bike's cool. Like I said, that the scene was funny. With the troopers. This whole thing is great, and it's built very well. I really like it. But I'd say I'd be kind of a little higher on my list, but not by much.
All right, let's go to my number 8. We're counting down Aries' top 10 Star Wars Hot Toys releases in 2021. And we're not even done yet, baby. So you have to wonder how this is going to get shifted up, because I'm going to do a reboot of this, like for between, the holidays for sure. But drum roll, please, number 8. And let's go to KeCo with this one. My number 8 Star Wars Hot Toys for 2021 so far is this one, baby.
I'm going to be a little bit negative on this one. This would not make my top 10. It looks so good. I love the colors.
Oh, this wouldn't make your top 10.
It did not make my top 10. It's just it's a generic figure. It's not a named character, I guess, if you want to call it that. And all my top 10 are named characters, if we want to put it that way. But it looks beautiful. I do love the whole aspect of Death Watch. It's a fantastic pose. It's got good shelf presence, but it just did not make my top 10, which I think it's okay to be. What is this, 8 for you, Aries? I think that's good for you. Yeah,
that's good for me. All right, well then, KG, this is number 8 for me.
I'm not surprised. It's definitely, I don't have this figure, but if I did, this would make my top 10. I just love this figure. It's a great piece, but for me, I don't collect troopers. I just can't do that. But it's definitely a great piece. It's a very unique piece in some sort of capacity. I know it's a repaint of Boba Fett, but I do not think we'll see this character again, or this version of Death Watch. I just don't see it. I don't blame you. Don't blame you.
Lane, quickly on this one, is this in your top 10? Is this too low, not high enough for me?
I think you have it placed just right, because I have one of this guy myself too. Unlike KG, I am brave enough to be a trooper collector, and unfortunately, it does come back to haunt you.
It does.
I do think I'm kind of with KeCo a little bit. I don't think I would have him higher necessarily, since he's not a name figure, or at least a little bit more unique looking with his armor or something. But I think it's really the color that really makes him stand out, that if you have him mixed in with other characters, he doesn't take the forefront, but he also looks enough so he just doesn't disappear into the background.
Yeah, the teal's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, there we go. Drum roll, please. We're going to go to Aries's number 7 with Peyton. This is my number 7 figure.
Ooh.
And this figure, this is hot. But go ahead, go.
It's great. It's an original trilogy figure.
Yes, so it is, baby.
That, could you imagine You have the original Luke from A New Hope, right?
Yes.
Could you imagine posing that figure with this?
Yeah, I can imagine it. Yes.
That's gonna be a
going to.
money shot right there. So I think and we don't know, they could have a huge role in the Book of Boba Fett. We saw them in the trailer.
Yes, they were in the trailer for sure.
So if you want this figure and you're in the chat, buy this figure right now because you may not be able to soon. So
yeah, I don't know how. I do really think that this is going to be a grail if they don't reissue it. Let me. Okay, so Peyton, would this make your top 10? Is this number 7 for me? Is this in a good spot? You think?
Yes, I love the Tuscan Raiders, so that automatically just puts it at a higher standard than most other figures for me personally.
Let me go to Anthony. Number 7 for me. Did this make your top 10 for just Star Wars?
You know, I want to say yes. I haven't picked them up yet, but I already know it's a Tuscan Raider. So with that said, I'll probably grab 2 of these because like Peytstrick was saying, this is exactly what I was going to do. I was going to get 2 Tuscan Raiders to go with my farm boy Luke and my original trilogy Obi-Wan, and just kind of have like a little, on my bigger cabinets out there, just little recreation scene stuff. So yeah, it's Tuscan Raider, man. It's like the bread and butter of Star Wars. It's no different than Troopers in that respect. It encompasses the world of Star Wars. So he's definitely going to be on the list. Like I say, it's hard for me to judge because I haven't had the figure in hand, but knowing that it's the Tuscan Raider, my only problem with it, I feel he's too clean, but I know that's like Mando accurate, but it just looks too damn clean to me. But that's a good spot for the list, I'd say.
KeCo, what is this? Because this is another grunt, but I have him at number 7. So what do you think?
For what you're going with, I will say yes, that does make sense because of the OT that it's attached to. I think anything OT will naturally get a natural bump in the polls if you want to talk about it like this. The only thing about this that I think is an issue, and I don't have this one yet either. I'm waiting for Replay Toys if they're on here. When they get their version, when I see it in hand, I'll make that final decision. But I actually saw somebody post one with a custom with like the long drapey old trilogy cloak on, and it looked really, really good. Kind of, I guess, maybe the original Sideshow cloak that they had on there, and it looked really good. I mean, the head sculpt. That's my only thing. But yeah, I think that's a fair because the OT will naturally always bump you up in the polls.
Yes. Well, listen, we got 130 in here right now, baby. Go ahead and hit that like button, baby. And let me go ahead and pour you. You want it hot? You want it cold? You want some deluxe spatchka? We're pouring it up tonight, baby. All right, so that was number 7, right, guys? That was my number 7. And for you all that don't know what we're doing here, what we're doing is we're counting down Aries's top 2021 top 10 Star Wars Hot Toys. And the Tuscan Raider, now just Star Wars Hot Toys, was number 7. You have to wonder what number 6 is, KG. And we're going to go to you first because I think that this is a figure that people forgot about. But I'm going to put this out, and this is my number 6 figure of 2021.
Oh.
And in the secondary market, forget about it, KG, because it is out of control, baby.
Yeah. This is, for me, I would put it higher in my top 5 out of everything Marvel, Star Wars, and DC. This is a figure that I absolutely love in my collection. I think it's my number 1.
I love this figure.
If anything, right. And if anything, this might be my favorite figure in the collection. It's a very beautiful figure. And I don't blame you. It's one of those figures where it was very unique, and it was just one of those figures where it was never going to come back. And I think this was a bought figure, and I'm so glad I have in the collection. And those secondary market prices tells you something, Aries. It's a grail. It's a grail piece for many people, and for me, it definitely is.
Yeah, and I take it out a lot, Peyton. Absolutely, KG. And look at it. This is number 6 release, and I think, Peyton, some people forgot about this. This came out like January 1st to 3rd. It was crazy, but it's technically this year. Is this in your top 10? Is this in a good spot for me, number 6, for my top? Okay,
absolutely. I've got this one right beside my Armorer, and I love this figure. I remember at the New Year's Eve, and I was like, about to go to bed and I look at my phone and I was like, oh, this is out. And then watching reviews about it and seeing pictures of it. I like this. It's cool. I hope we see this character again. I hope we see another version of this figure. Maybe like a battle damage version or a head sculpt. It'd be cool. I'd buy it. But yeah, I love this figure. It's definitely a top 10 for me.
Anthony, let's go to you. Is this a top 10 figure for you for 2021 for Star Wars Hot Toys?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I have two of them. Just
you got
only
two
because,
of them, baby.
Yeah, well, because man, like when it came out, I just knew, like looking at it, it was gonna be awesome. And I only got one for me, but I have a second one. It's just simmering right now. You know what I mean? It's just sitting there. So yeah, I had to get two because I knew he was gonna go up. He's a low production run. Is a really cool figure. Like KG was saying, he's up there. He's very, very high because he's so bulky and badass. And when you've got the machine gun with the belt feed on it, he just looks. Man. It's just so cool looking. And you can get him on the flight stand if you want, or you can get him hand to hand with the knife. I mean, he's awesome. He's up there. I forget, and it's bad. I mean, we're all in this, but I don't even remember what all came out this year. So it's hard for me to gauge how high he should be, but he's up there. He's up there.
Well, before we go to Lane, Jonathan Dandrup said, I'm surprised that's not in your top 3, Aries. Haha. You absolutely love that one. Listen, Jonathan, is it possible that you're going to be like, look at Aries top 3? Are you kidding me? Listen, we're getting into some really beefy stuff now, with 128 watching for sure. Lane, does this make your top 10 for Star Wars Hot Toys in your list for you? Let me pull it back up on the screen.
I'm going to say I'm disappointed with you, Aries.
Wow. Where is this for you? Number what?
Because he is my top favorite character of every Hot Toy that I own. This is
your number one.
This is my favorite Hot Toy that I own of anyone.
Wow.
And I don't have tons like some of the original trilogy, some other high level ones that you have. But I have Rogue One Vader. I have the Death Trooper Specialist, which I still mess that up. But I'll just tell you, to know how important this one is to me, I'm part of my collection. If you had seen my face when he took a header off my second shelf of my DTOF and he went splat on the ground, just... And my look on my expression of horror.
Was it worse than when I showed you Jyn Erso?
But no. But I can understand, especially if there have been a lot of releases this year, even though we talked about it seems like it took forever for releases to come out. I just think he's a really useful character. But I think he's probably placed just right because he's such an awesome character or figure.
Yes. Yep.
But his importance kind of as a character is minimal,
So I think now you have to wonder what's going to happen in season 3. But I agree.
But where you have the Death Watch and the Tuscan Raider, I think he fits where he should be.
KeCo, real quick on this one because I want to get to the top 5 and the other ones. Your impressions with this. Is this in a good spot for me? Number 6, would this make your top 10 for Star Wars Hot Toys?
It not only makes my top 10 for Star Wars, it actually is in my top 5 of figures released for this year. Is that I love this one. Mm-hmm. The bulk, the color, it photographs so damn well. It just has an incredible shelf presence. So yes, top 5 figure for me of the entire year.
Well, listen, guys, we're going into the top 5 now. And if you're wondering what we're doing, we are going over with 125 in here. Aries' top 10 Star Wars figures for 2021. We've just went through 10 to 6. Now we're going to go to number 5. Is it possible that number 5 is going to be a hot one for everybody? You have to wonder. But let me go ahead and go to it here. I don't want to put the wrong one up and spoil anything. But number 5 for me for 2021. Are you guys ready?
Uh-oh.
Oh, yes.
Go ahead, Peyton.
I don't like this figure. No, I'm just kidding. I've got 3 of them. I love this figure.
Everyone's got 3 or 12 or 24. Are you?
I would have 12. I would.
All right, this is number 5. Okay, so your guys are starting to think in your head, what has he got? 4, 3, 2, 1. But so this makes your top 10.
absolutely. This makes my top 2.
Whoa.
I love this. This is amazing. For what it comes with for the price. 3 helmets? Are you kidding me? It's amazing. It's perfect.
Yeah, what you get's incredible for the price point, and
Indeed.
I think that's why it is the ultimate army builder. Not only is it the 501st, but you also get the 332nd helmet. You get a Phase 2 helmet, which is incredible. Phase 1 helmet, and I mean, you can buy 4 of them like I did, and you have 4 totally different figures, which is fantastic. And yes, this is a absolute top 5. Well done, man.
Absolutely. Anthony, this makes my top 5. This is number 5. What say you, baby?
Yeah, it's hard for me because I don't remember what all came out this year. Because I would say this is a top 3 for me. Just like everybody just said, it's this for the bang for the buck, man. You get so much with this figure, and the body is such an improvement over some of our previous troopers that, I mean, I got him up there, with Rex and Cody, and like, dude, I only have one, and I want to get more, but my problem is I like troopers too, and so it's really hard to juggle. I'm trying to get the other short troopers to go with the original, and so it's hard. I would get a dozen of them if I could. They're that good, and it's hard because they know we're gonna come out with more of these variations of the clones, but overall, though, the bang for the buck, man. I mean, you get a ton as long as you're getting this deluxe one. I don't see why you would just get the regular, because it really is amazing. There's so much accessories and army build combinations, and yeah, it's awesome. It's definitely top 3.
And KG, I'm going to you. This is a grunt that makes my top 5. And I'm actually mixing it in, whether it's this one or the non-deluxe, all good points like Anthony was making. It comes to the helmets and all that. Just the fact that they're coming out with clone. I mean, and obviously all the things like Anthony was saying, it's a better figure, all the the different things or whatnot. But does this make your top 10? Does this make your top 5?
Hey, listen, no need to brag, but I got like 20 of them. So no, I'm just kidding. No, you know what? If it definitely makes it my top 10 for sure. I mean, it's one of those figures where I think if I had the money for it, I would definitely buy at least 2 or 3 of these. I just don't have the space and the money for them. But for what you're getting for $250. I mean, come on, 3 heads, 3 helmets, and a plethora of guns, hands. I mean, you're not going to see these types of prices in the aftermarket for sure once it sells out. So I agree with the Aries. This is definitely a top 5 figure of the year for sure, for Star Wars at least.
All right, drum roll, please. And we're going to go to Lane first. This is my number 4 figure of the year. And for Star Wars Hot Toys 2021, are you ready?
I knew it.
I figured. Kylo Ren, awesome figure.
Sick, baby. The light-up helmet is sick.
Agree. That's one of my favorite, I think, of battery effects that they've ever done for any Star Wars figure. I don't know about some of the Iron Mans and stuff to compare it to.
Listen, for me, Lane, it's hard for me when you see a head sculpt like this. It is so hard for it not to make my top 10. Mm-hmm. And this head sculpt is money, baby. And we talked about this even on Will Foxification's live show this past Saturday. I mean, and we all agree that when it comes to Hot Toys, I mean, one of the main attractions, or if not the main attraction, is the head sculpt. And man, I mean, they just forget about what anyone thinks in a movie. This figure's a beast.
Well, I think for this particular, I'm just going to say real quick, I'm going to be the fly on the ointment that I think the 501st you put it too high.
Even though they reinvigorated, it's not. It's interesting.
I'm just going to say I'm judging it on the figure and what it is. I'm not including the accessories and the value. I don't know if that should necessarily figure in how you're rating your top 10. It's great value, but I wasn't completely in on the 501st or the Clone Troopers like that as much. It would be an 8 or 9 for me for the year. But anyway,
that's still pretty good. That's good.
I'm not meaning to get sidetracked with this. Kylo Ren I got Kylo 2 and I kind of already sold him, but I decided to get out of sequel trilogy stuff. But I think this guy is perfect at 4 and this gives me an idea of where I think who's going to be number 2 or number 1. But this figure, I think, is one of the best combos, and I'm interested to see what the rest of the panel says. For a great facial sculpt, to go with a really, really unique helmeted alternative where it makes it almost really hard to decide how you want to have him. Do you want to have him with the cool helmet?
Well, I have him actually holding his helmet in a very unique way and with it like that. So this would make your top 10 lane.
Yes. There's one thing I wish he had come with. There's only one accessory.
What's that?
Wish he had come with.
I know what you're going to say.
But this was the last one they were making. I wish they had a melted Vader helmet.
Yeah.
You know, now because they included all that stuff with Rey, which I thought that made the Rey figure, I think, one of the best values, other than like maybe that's the one thing.
That would have been hot,
or a Wayfinder.
Yeah.
That would have been cool too.
Yeah, 501st is great for, I think, for the value is a top 5 figure for what you get with it, as well as Rey. If he, and I'm just saying this is kind of the nerdy thing because as I am not a sequel trilogy, but he is my favorite character of that because I think Adam Driver, for what he was given in each one of the movies, did a great job with the character for what he had to play.
Oh, he absolutely did. So this would make your top 10. This is number 4 for me.
Absolutely.
KeCo, this is number 4 for me. Is this in your top 10?
It is not in my top 10, but I actually went to go get this figure after seeing it in person at Replay Toys. I was like, I don't, kind of like what Lane said, I am not a fan of the sequels, but you cannot deny the character and the performance by Adam. And I love this sculpt. It looks too good to not have on the shelf. So I broke my rule because I kind of like you, Lane. I got rid of all my sequel trilogy stuff, and then I went right back and ended up adding this one. So I definitely see the appeal to add this one, mainly because the helmet is, like you said, so badass. It is badass. With my photos that I do, I decided, do I want the head sculpt, whatever. So because I recently did one with the head sculpt on, he's got the head sculpt on currently with no mask. But I love the options that you have to be able to put it on there. So solid figure.
The big problem with this guy, he makes you want to go buy Sith Troopers, or he makes you want to go buy try. You have to go like get Praetorian Guards or something like that.
Yeah.
Peyton, view this in your top 10. This is number 4 for me, baby.
Yes, you get a great head sculpt. You get a great helmet. The body is soft goods outfit, so you can pose it. I like this figure. It's one of my favorites that I have of the sequel trilogy figures, and I've got a few of them. I mean, I'm not like a huge sequel fan, obviously, but I like it. Like he was saying earlier, was these characters are still cool though, and that's why I was happy to get this one. And it's definitely, I would say, top 5 for me, just because of the head.
Let's not forget about the cape either, though. That's
the
some
cape,
high quality stuff too.
Awesome.
I love that with the magnets, the way it flows. And,
Yes,
with
the magnets are amazing on this sucker.
It's engineered well.
Yes,
I agree.
So this is number 4 for me. Before we get to the top 3, you have to wonder what my number 3 is. But KG, this is number 4. Is this in your top 10 for Star Wars Hot Toys 2021?
Here's the thing, Aries. You know, I love Star Wars when I was a kid. Clone Wars was my favorite thing. You know, prequels. I grew up on those. Because Star Wars kind of died down for me. But when I saw Force Awakens, when I saw this character released, I grew to fall in love with Star Wars again. I mean, I know a lot of people bash the sequels. I don't like the sequels either, but I kind of got my fandom of Star Wars came back. And that figure, I don't have it yet, but I will soon have in the collection. I mean, it's a must-have for me. I have my first figure, believe it or not, was The Last Jedi Kylo Ren. So, I mean, this tells you that, I'm a big fan of Kylo Ren, and I think this will definitely come in my collection very, very soon. So I cannot wait. So, yeah.
Well, if you guys are wondering what we're doing here on the Market Show Live, don't forget to hit that like button with 118 in here watching us, baby. We are counting down Aries's top Star Wars releases for 2021. Star Wars Hot Toys releases, just Star Wars. And we're up to the top 3 now. Number 4 was Kylo Ren. You have to wonder what number 3 is. And I'm going to stick with KG on my number 3. KG, number 3 for the Dark Jedi for 2021 is.
Oh, yes. Yes. This one, I do agree with you. This is a figure. I don't have it yet, and I'm still waiting on it. This is a grail for many people one day. I'm telling you, this
figure.
There's no way this figure will come back. Absolutely not. I don't see this. Not in the next 10 years. I just don't see this figure coming back. This figure has it's just the plethora of accessories. I mean, for $255, with that price tag, if this was announced by today's standards, you're looking at $285 max. And for this price, $255, I mean, come on, Aries. This is I personally think that this is definitely for me a top 5 figure once I have in the collection. It's a beautiful figure. I have Cody, and I cannot wait to display this guy with Cody in the shelf. Can't wait.
Look, this is number 3 for me. Everybody who's in the chat, we're counting down Aries' top Star Wars releases for 2021 thus far. You're gonna have to wonder how this list is gonna break up. Anthony, number 3 for me, Captain Rex. Is Captain Rex in your Star Wars top 10, top 5 for 2021? What say you?
Yeah, I mean, top 5. You know, I was so stoked when I got him too. You know, I got him. If you guys remember, on my birthday, it was on the 6th. Then I did the review, and I was like in love with him. And you know, I was seeing how that was gonna last. And now that it's been, you know, a couple months, I'm still. Yeah, I mean, looking at him, he's still pretty sweet, man. You know, in combination, you know, with the 501st and Cody. My only problem with him is I didn't like the holsters. Mine actually kind of fell off. They're really cheaply glued on. If we're looking at like, you know, oh, dude, I was pretty. I don't know. It was just you know, it was kind of, you know, warm in the packaging and it loosened up, or you know, sometimes they just use maybe too little of glue or sometimes too much. I fixed it. You know, it wasn't a big deal. You know, but when you look at like just the quality involved in a figure, I kind of docked it a little on that just because I think they could have made those a little better. But he is an amazing figure, and the sculpt is fire. I love his sculpt. I have him. I don't have him helmeted. You know, he's up there. It's hard. I don't know if he's top 3, but he's up there. Probably top 5, somewhere in the top 5 range.
122 in here. You're watching the market show live. We're counting down Aries' top figures for 2021, the top 10. This is number 3 for me. KeCo, does this make your top 10 or 5? What do you think, me having this at 3?
I really want to know what, you know, numbers 1 and 2 are, because this is such a hell of a release, and this is a top 3. This is a top 3 figure for me, 100%. And kind of what they were, I think it was KG that said a minute ago, is that think about when this went up for pre-order versus, you know, Jesse and Vaughn that just went up, about $255 versus $285, and the price, you know, that we've seen since then. For what you get with this figure, it's so good. And it is that conundrum of, do you display it with the helmet or the head sculpt? And they're both fantastic. Currently mine is with the head sculpt on, holding the helmet. I think a lot of people are probably doing that. But you get so much with this. And I love the helmet, and I love the body marks, you know, with the tallies. You know, I've always loved that about Rex. That's so cool. What a neat attention to detail. I don't have an issue with this one at all. Thankfully, my holsters were fine. I didn't have any, you know, QC issues. So this is definitely a top 3 figure.
Absolutely. Peyton, this is number 3 for me. Where is this for you?
Number 1.
All
the way at the top. All the way at the top.
Some coffee.
All the way to the top. Yes. Yeah, I just, compared to the 501st clone, like the weathering is so much better, and I love battle damage. That's my thing. And I'm a huge Captain Rex fan. I love the Clone Wars, and I love the 501st, and he leads the 501st. It's perfect. This is a firm number 1 for me. Unless Ahsoka releases this year, then that'll bump him down to number 2. But
Lade, did we go to you yet on Rex? Your thoughts on this?
Where's mine, Sideshow? I need it.
Where's mine too?
Yeah,
Pain.
This is like I had someone say, could this be the Star Wars edition of Endgame Cap? Because since they're both captains, and that means they have to share certain qualities with each other. So I was like, okay, so I'll see him in March of next year. Sounds good. But no, I think this guy is he'd probably be, if we go by what could still possibly come out this year included, he would probably be my top 3. Seeing him here, it definitely gives me a possibility of who I'm going to see in your top 2, Aries.
Well, and I'll give an explanation as to why, you know, I'm considering a lot of things. I'm considering new head sculpts, brand new. So for him to make the figure, Rex is just so darn good. that I had to put him. I mean, it's amazing that it's not my number one. I think we're all going to know what my number one is, but I have to put this figure my number two release because I spoke about it a ton, and I absolutely think that this was a. I mean, and I love this character too, but let me tell you something. This figure is hot. Number two. I'm going to go to you, Peyton. I'm going to go with this.
Yep.
I'm very surprised that this is not your number one.
Well, listen, I'm going to
that to be
explain
number
what
one.
my number one is when I put it up, but
They
come
killed
on,
it. They
Peyton,
absolutely
they
killed it. This is
this figure. This head
Yes.
sculpt is like it's like Daisy Ridley in my hand.
yeah. Comparing the prototype photos, when I saw the final product photos, I canceled my sideshow order immediately and then bought one from Hong Kong. Like that's how excited I was about it, and I did not regret that decision one bit. This is an amazing figure, and they knocked it out of the park. Home run.
Home run. KeCo, this is number two for me. I know you take a lot of photos. Talk to me. Is this in your top 10?
It is not in my top 10 simply because out of principle. I hate it, but it is so good. She actually fell down when I came in here, so I have her sitting, right
Oh,
here.
you have her sitting there.
Yeah, she's right there. Isn't she beautiful?
Let me
But
see
she
if I
is
can,
beautiful. And
show
she
a layout. Let's see here.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So
That is awesome.
You got the incredible head sculpt, you got the yellow lightsaber, and I think the stuff that comes with it is what really puts it over the edge. You get Dio, and I know a lot of people, Leia's lightsaber. I know that was a huge piece that people wanted, and they're like, okay, I will get this, or I will buy this piece simply for that, so you can give it to Leia, so you can have a really cool display with that. For $243 was an absolute steal. So I think that people got wind of it being a really good figure, and that's why it says waitlist full. I do not doubt anybody that puts it in their top 10. It just, she could not make it simply because on principle. That was it. It got an asterisk next to it. That's the only reason that she's not in my top 10.
KG.
I don't blame you. This figure I don't have in the collection, but do I regret it? In some levels, I do. But honestly, it's a great figure. The way it turned out, I mean, it's the definitive Rey to have. I mean, just forget about the films. I mean, this is Rey. I mean, if you want to have one definitive Rey, go. I mean, if you can't find one for a very good price, go for it. It's a very beautiful figure. And if you have the Kylo Ren, even better. Having these two displayed, even in a simple pose. I think there's a picture in one of those pictures in there, Aries, that you have both of them in a single pose. Put that in the shelf or a detail, call it a day, and then it's a great look. Absolutely phenomenal look for sure.
It absolutely is. 135 in here, Market Show Live, baby. Hit that like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel. And all these guys over here, buy your ticket to Planet Tatooine 2 to visit Lane. Lane, listen, I think that you thought that this was number one. I think a lot of people are thinking, this is not my number one figure for 2021. But is this in your top 10? Talk to me.
I sold her. I'm not as high on the facial sculpt as you were. I think it's much better because she doesn't look like the fusion of like the prototype of Daisy Ridley doing like the Dragon Ball fusion dance with Liv Tyler, like as Arwen Evenstar is what she looked to me like before.
I thought the prototype looked like Jennifer Garner, actually.
But
I get it, baby. It didn't look like her.
But however, I want to preface for the fact is that I think the figure is really good. The only concerns I have are the same with the figure that I had with the figure when I had it was the same as you have for anybody with the arms could tear over time. Like Wonder Woman. And well, it's confirmed that, the Batman Arkham Knight Harley Quinn. They basically said, and the thing literally don't bend the arms like 90 degrees or it'll tear. Yeah. But however, saying that, this is my favorite outfit that she had in the entire sequel trilogy. That they gave her lightsaber, the yellow lightsaber to me, was the thing that tipped me over that I had to buy it.
That did it for a lot of people, didn't it, Lane?
Yes. That extra, just taking that little, without raising the price and just adding that little extra, I think is what helped get her sold out and not have her sitting there forever.
Yeah.
Well, No, go ahead, KG.
No, I was going to say, if anything, those extra accessories pulled the trigger for many people. I mean, besides the head sculpting, I think you got like 2 or 3 lightsabers.
Yep.
In a bag. I mean, come on. I mean, that kind of pulled it pulled a lot of triggers for many people. So I don't blame
and it wasn't something like major, super expensive. Or, it wasn't like doing the Tony Stank head all over again or something.
Listen, you have to wonder what the Dark Jedi, Aries Tarrington, what is his #1 figure for 2021? I mean, you have to wonder. But listen, there's been a little bit of a theme for this show. And there's a few characters in here. Maybe you'll be able to figure it out if I play this, baby.
We would be honored if you would join us.
I had no choice. They arrived right before you did. I'm sorry.
Are you freaking kidding me? Listen, everybody in there knows how much I spill my coffee over the original trilogy. There was a damn piece that was making me, come on. I got to put it up on the screen because when I opened this up, I said, bye-bye Ray, bye-bye Dio, bye-bye all of them. This head sculpt, guys, this is Billy D. Williams. And I literally took this figure and I'm looking at it in every angle under the chin, under the right side of the cheek. Let me go ahead and go 73 degrees this way. Let me go ahead and look at it this way. I mean, it's just as good as the Krennic. It's just as good as the Alec Guinness one. KeCo, to me, and I got this the other day. I did an unboxing. Are you kidding me? I love this figure, dude.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And the only thing I would say that is bad about it is just the cape attachment. That's it. That's the only thing I would say about it. And I think that a cosmetic tweak, if you want to do a little bit of tailoring or something, fix it and it becomes a perfect figure. It's the OG charm. It's Billy D. Williams. It's a figure that we've never had before, and so it ticks all the boxes. Yes, top 10 figure for me as well. Not #1. That's a very coveted spot, obviously, but I do not doubt one bit that this is a good one for you as well. Really cool release. I mean, you can pair it up with the Bespin Leia. You can pair it up with Boba Fett. Pair it up with Darth Vader. Pick one, and it looks really, really good.
Look, absolutely, KeCo and Peyton. Forget about. I'm waiting for C-3PO. I'm waiting for Lando. I'm waiting for Padme. I'm waiting for key characters to be able to really call this a definitive, general collection Hot Toys. And I'm saying, where's Lando Calrissian? We got all these original trilogy figures, and we got multiples of Luke and multiples of Han and quadruples of Leia. Where is Lando? He is a main character. Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, baby. It's Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and Billy D. Williams. Just taking this out of the box, I had a different smile on my face, Peyton, than anything else I opened this year.
I agree. Like I was saying about the Tuscan Raider, anything that's original trilogy just gets a separate bracket. Like it just has that faster advantage to being up on the top. And I love this figure. I've got this Lando, and I mean, there's not much you can do with it posing wise, but you don't have to, because it just has that shelf presence where you could put it beside Boba Fett, you could put it with Vader, you could put it with Stormtroopers, and he just looks good everywhere. And it's perfect. Definitely a #1 for me.
#1 figure for me, KG. Are you surprised? Where do you think this for me?
A little, but honestly, it's definitely a top 10 figure for me personally. I don't have the figure, just because I don't have any other OT Empire Strikes Back figures. But if I ever pull the trigger, I won't be disappointed with this figure. And I think if I have this in hand, I think it would definitely hit not my top 5, but definitely a top 10 for sure.
Anthony, my #1 figure for this year, is this in your top 10?
Of course. I don't have him yet, but I'm getting him, obviously, because I have everything OT. So he has to be here because, like you said, there's and there's a different feeling, right? When you open that up for us, we're like, oh, the original, right? But
Yes.
Don't
Yeah,
forget
oddly
that
enough,
40th
I mean-
anniversary box.
I know they're so.
It's
dude,
so
like,
nice.
and the price is perfect. And like I was saying, there's not much you could do with them, but you don't need to do anything with them. You need to
No.
display them with the original trilogy and just make that display that much better. Really, he would probably see. It's hard because I am more of an original trilogy fan than anything. So in that respect, I would say he's number one. But for overall figure, your number two is my number one. I think, you know, Rey was like the best figure release so far, just because of what we talked about, everything that she came with. You know, I got her. You guys know I got her in like May. I think I got her like day one. And first thing I did was take the Leia's saber and the training helmet, and I put it on my Endor Leia. I love it. I love how much she came with. The sculpt's fire. She was the best. You know, it's weird because I hate the sequels. So the irony's there, but she's still going to be number one. I mean, I know we got a little bit of time left in the year, but I don't think anything's going to beat her for this year, man. But Lando would probably be my number two because he is OG, and he looks fantastic.
And Lane, going to you here with 140 in here. Thank you for watching the Market Show live. Hit that like button, baby. Much appreciate the support. And don't forget to subscribe to 6 Scale Cantina. As a matter of fact, subscribe to all these guys, baby. Are you kidding me? Look, Lane, you know, what Anthony was saying, Rey was number one for me until I saw the 40th anniversary packaging. I had the smile on my face. I opened this up and I was like, are you kidding me? And I said, as much as I love that Rey, this for me, and it's probably, there's not a whole lot that comes with this figure, but you know where it has it? The head sculpt is money, my friend.
Oh,
right. And you know what, too, Aries? The thing is, too, you see that $235 price tag. Once this thing sells out, you're not seeing that price tag ever again. Because I'm telling you right now, I don't see them making another Lando. This is, if anything, to me personally, I know that we got to see him in Return of the Jedi. To me, this is the definitive Lando to have.
The definitive one.
We're just not going to see this pricing anymore for like Hot Toys in general. I mean, like the closest we would have probably for any Hot Toys, like not coming with, maybe even has a little bit more stuff, but a head sculpt and kind of that would be like the Shang-Chi figures.
Yeah.
And which are $250. That's like the minimum. Everybody said that doesn't cost. That doesn't seem like a lot.
And if they would have made a Return of the Jedi version, you're looking at sort of the same accessories. You're looking at probably $270.
Is probably the price point more basic.
Yeah,
right.
But,
if he was announced
with KG though, they're probably not going to make them.
Yeah, exactly. So
you know, when you think of Lando, this is what you see in your head, right? I mean, you don't really think Return of the Jedi Lando, for example. Like when you hear about Lando, this is like what comes to you. This is the definitive Lando.
Yeah.
Maybe Skiff Guard. I think Skiff Guard is a pretty iconic. Like that's what I think of more. But Return of the Jedi is my favorite Star Wars movie of all of them. So that can play in a little bit too. I don't have the figure, and I don't intend to get them, even though I am old enough, and I am an original trilogy. That is my favorite Star Wars, followed by Clone Wars. But honestly, I don't know, Aries, if you've looked at it very closely, and not to sound like I like men's hair too much, but I just think the detail, the part that catches me the most is just the detail in the hair, the curls, the follicles, how it all looks like I mean, I can't imagine necessarily they thought this was going to be just for our, previous original trilogy. There's a reason a lot of the OT figures are $400 or $500 now, because you can't find, if they had made as many as they did the Beskar Mando, because they sold like crazy, they wouldn't be that expensive. But I think the detail they put into that guy, where they couldn't expect it was going to sell 15,000 units or 20,000 units or something, but they took the extra time to make him look so fabulous and so great. I really appreciate that, for all the crap we want to give Hot Toys for not being willing to take chances or do other things. Now, maybe people needed to buy more of them, where they say we're not going to do it in the future, but they took that time to make him look so cool. So he goes so well with, that Bespin hand we're going to get in 2025, right, Aries?
That'd be Oreo.
I'm not going to get that started. I'm doing that as a joke. I'm doing that.
And this is why I'm sort of considering getting that, because if they do make a Bespin Han, you sure know this figure will sell out instantly once
Up,
that thing is
up,
announced.
up.
Instantly.
It's
And look, at the secondary market, you could forget
Oh,
about
yeah.
it, KG. But listen, guys, that was my top 10. But you have to wonder, is that really going to be my top 10 by December 31st? And I'm going to bring up some things here, and I want to get all your impression. Could my number one, could my top 5, or even my number 1 and 2 be different?
If one comes out, I know it'll be your number one.
Well, let me go ahead and pull this up on the screen. And what we're going to do here, Lane, is I'm putting this up. What late releases can make Aries' top 10, and particularly the top 3? So let's go ahead without further ado. I'm going to put the number one up that could really jolt things for me onto the screen if I can get to it.
Oh yeah, yeah, I knew it. Yeah.
KG, I mean, is it possible that this could actually be my number 1 figure when I see this head sculpt? What do you think?
Aries, I mean, you've been talking about this show since what? Since August.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this it's so evident that this is going to be your probably top 1. It's going to be my top 1 out of everything: Marvel, Star Wars, and DC. This figure, if this thing comes out this year, it will be easily my top 1 favorite figure of the year. That's it. I mean, as much as I love Mysterio and all these other Marvel stuff, this will be my top 1, no question. I don't.
Yeah, KeCo, I think that this could take the number 1 spot for me. I'm not sure. It comes with a lot. It means a lot to me. Obviously, you saw Lando means a lot to me, but this is the rebirth of Boba Fett, in a way, the rebirth of Star Wars, with how Filoni and Favreau are bringing it back to where I feel it should be. Is it possible that this could be my number 1? Is it possible, KeCo, that this could be many people's number 1 when they see the final production photos or reviews?
Without a doubt. And we know the staying power that the Boba Fett character has. Naturally, we have a whole new show coming, The Book of Boba Fett. So we know how popular this person is. And to be able to get this nomad look, and I would even say not just the deluxe version, just if you get the Sarlacc battle pitted version, I think that's a fantastic figure too. But this 2-pack specifically, because it comes with that bald, scarred up head sculpt, and the way I prefer this look, talking about the battle armor, more than the repainted one. I just like this one better.
Me too.
When I saw the repainted version on the screen, it didn't click with me. It almost looked like, what is this? Is he cosplaying as Boba Fett? It's a little strange to me. But this one, it shows exactly the story that we left off with, of him coming out of the Sarlacc. And that ties directly to the OT. So, of course, this will knock off anything in the top 3 or even number 1 if it comes out. Sure.
And if you only have like one option of Boba Fett, this is it. I mean, as much as I love the one with the throne, but we're going to get a lot of Boba Fetts with that. I mean, it's just that repaint. We're going to see it again. We will never see this outfit. If anything, it's going to be like the next Rusty Armor Mando. I mean, yes, we did get a reissue, but for this one, I don't think so. I just don't see it.
Yeah, Peyton, let's go to you. Peytstrick, listen, is it possible this can be my number 1? Is it possible it can be yours, others?
Yeah, it would become my number 1 immediately if they release this. You're not going to see this Nomad Boba Fett again. You may see a reissue of the battle damaged armor, and in fact, you can buy that separately. But you will not see this Nomad Boba Fett again. Now, you may see a new Boba Fett out of his armor. Like if we see him take his armor off in the show, we may see that. But you won't see this guy again. So I say this could easily hit Grail status, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. KeCo, that 2-pack Boba Fett, if it comes out, what do you think?
Yeah, I think you might have jumped to me again, but
did I? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I definitely believe that this one is 100% going to knock off whatever is on the top 1. Yeah, for sure.
Well, go to KeCo twice. let's go to Anthony.
We're reinforcing the fact this is happening, people.
Right? What do you think? What do you think again?
Give me a third.
Are you sure,
baby?
Right?
I really think this will knock off number 1.
Anthony, how about for you? Because I know that you were talking about, hey, I was like, I'm trying to remember everything that came out this year, but I think we all know that's going to come out.
Yeah. I really, really, really hope he comes out this year, and I think he's going to. I know we don't have much time left, but again, from what we talked about previously, They have so much they have to pump things out. I don't see this being a problem getting this out now because now we're gonna get all this new stuff from the show. So they're like, we don't want this to sit on shelves because now someone's gonna want the newest thing we announce.
Right.
You know, so I'm hoping this comes out. It will be my number one for the year. Ray will get down to 2, just because my bias is too strong, man. That's Boba Fett. He's back. He's a 2-pack. The price point's not bad per figure when you look at it. We're never going to get that version again. I mean, there's just so many things to talk about with that particular release that he's number one. I'm curious who you would bump off, though, from your top 10, though.
Yeah,
see, someone's got to go, bro.
Someone's got to go, brother. And I listen. I'm going to put up a few more, but let's go to Lane. Lane, real quickly on this, so I can put up the other one. Would this make your top 10? Would you make your top 5? Would it jeopardize your top 3?
No, because I don't really care for this release.
Really? Okay, but go ahead, explain.
Because I don't like the bird poop Boba. I don't like the look.
You like the throne one.
I like the clean look.
Some people
that's the
prefer
one that instantly grabbed me. And I'm not talking about just with the throne. I'm talking for the Boba. The Nomad look is cool, but I was never. It's not and it's got the Goffy stick that really likes to meet stormtroopers' faces. But I did not like this 2-pack. I'm sorry. I just think it looks ugly. The even though that's the scene where we finally get to see him be badass, like where we get to see him do it, not be told how good he is, see how badass he is. But the clean look for me, I saw that the next episode. I went, that's the Boba I gotta own. Whether he had the throne or not, that's the one I'm buying.
Gotcha. Well,
that's why day one throne was mine.
Yep. Well, listen, Haydalorian puts in a super chat. Love the show, Aries. Looking forward to the room tour you announced a couple of weeks ago. Keep up the great work. Haydalorian, thank you so much for the $5 bomb. Really appreciate that. Can't wait to get that room tour out. My friend, it's going to be epic. So thank you for that. All right. So KG, I got to go to you with this one because this one can throw a monkey wrench in the gears. Let's say this gets announced next week. Is it possible this could be my number one?
Oh,
it's so hard, isn't it?
I hate you, Aries, right now because you're putting on the spot right now. Come on,
man.
You know what? Maybe not. I might not number one, maybe top 3. I would say because I mean, look at that Boba Fett. I mean, I don't think both can top this, in my opinion. I just don't see it. But I mean, it's a hard one. You're putting me on the spot right now, Aries.
It's a hard one. I don't think either, but I'm thinking about it. But I agree. It's hard. Peyton, what about you?
All right, so we're changing plans here. We're gonna the number one spot seats 5. We'll do that. Well, it's a 5-seater. We'll do that.
Yeah, the one thing about it, I think I was stumbling everyone here. KeCo, I know you take a lot of pictures. This isn't a person's head sculpt, though. It is a real person. It's not Rosario Dawson. I love this figure, though. Like the Rex made number 3. I kept it at 3 because it was kind of like a redo of a head sculpt. Like they already have Cody, that type of thing. So looking for the innovation here. Where would this one go for you? Do you think this would break my top 3? I'm so looking forward to this figure, but it's not an actual actress.
Yeah, it's weird because I don't know when we get the final photos if they've modified the face at all. I mean, we know that they do that when it comes down to the final products. I mean, Rey being an example. Do they try to change it to look more like Rosario Dawson? Who knows? So I don't know if there's any way to be able to firmly say that it'll take this, the top spot. If we get what's on the screen, it's got potential. But then for me, we have the, rubber arms. That's an issue. I know that's going to be a big problem for people. And then just the small scale in itself is that it's a smaller figure. So it doesn't take up the shelf space or shelf presence that a Lando would or a Boba Fett would. So I always take those into considerations as well. Spoiler, my number one figure of the entire year is Venom, simply because of how big he is and how much he takes up on the shelf space. So that plays a big part for me. But I'm interested to see when we get the final photos who is actually going to be who's that face that actually is going to be popping out at us?
Yeah, that's a good point. Let's go. Let's keep moving up the panel here, Anthony. Whose face is that going to be? Would this break my top three? I can't see it not breaking my top three. It's hard for me not to see that this would be number one. I'm so looking forward to this, but that Boba Fett, man.
Yeah, here's the thing. One, I hope this is the face we see. I think they have no, I don't want to say that they have no business because it's their business, but I don't think they should mess with this. This is the photos that we saw. This is the pre-order that went crazy. Everybody kind of went nuts when they saw this. Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't change it. She's not Rosario Dawson. Okay.
Yeah.
Leave this the way it is. I think this looks great the way it is, personally. As far as your top, this is not going to break your number one. I'll speak on your behalf, man. There's no way Ahsoka is going to beat Lando and Boba. There's no way. If she comes out this year, I could see you having her number 3.
Yeah,
but I don't think she takes over original trilogy personally.
No.
Yeah, no, I don't see her taking over the original trilogy. It probably takes. It's going to be close between her and Rey, depending on where this is, but it's going to be hard to beat the Lando.
Yeah,
probably.
I mean, she can beat the Tuscan Raider.
Oh God,
in that respect, on a list, right? Because it's more of a named figure. But
yeah, that's grunt.
Yeah, that Boba, that Lando. Nah, I don't think they're getting dethroned this year.
Lane, this figure, if it comes out, what do you think in your head? If it looks just like this,
or if it's a little bit, maybe 10? They put a little more Ashley Eckstein into the face or something, the voice actress. Aries, if this is not your number one of the year, I am driving from Texas to your house. I'm going to take your temperature because this is your number one. I know you like Lando. Lando is not as cool as Ahsoka. I'm sorry. She's a Jedi. I love Lando. But this is the definitive Ahsoka. Ahsoka is the most beloved character to come from Star Wars in the last 15 years. The post, she's
died on my baby.
She's the last, original great Star Wars character. And I'm not saying Disney hasn't done a good job with her before Disney bought Star Wars, because she was in Clone Wars and doing that before, obviously Disney bought it from Lucas. I completely agree. I'm sorry, I'm really jazzed up on this figure because this is
me
my
too,
number
baby.
one. I'm just saying,
I'm waking up every morning or in the middle of the night.
I'm imprinting my brain over yours right now. I'm admitting that completely with this figure. This is going to be your number one. You're going to get it. You're going to go Lando. Man, Billy D, you have great hair. I wish I had that hair. But I'm sorry, we're going to be putting down Ahsoka. You are the Jedi Queen this year. I crowned the Aries Harrington number one top champion of this year. Caveat.
Is it possible? You'll have to.
The caveat's going to be if they change her to look like, and people have already listened to me on Geeking Out stream when I've said this. If they change her to look like Rosario Dawson, I'm canceling my pre-order like that day. I'll take the $25 hit.
Vacation
it's because and this is what I mean. I'm projecting myself onto you a little bit, Aries. She probably will be in your top 3 because I know you love that and the Boba. I don't care about the Boba. She's more important to me than the Boba 2-pack.
I mean, that's anyway. In Clone Wars, I mean, the last season is, I think we can agree. I think by far, I think most people's favorite season of Clone Wars, especially the last 3 episodes. It was so emotional.
4 episodes, and
still haven't seen
down.
That scene. There's one specific scene. I'm not gonna spoil it for you, Anthony, but with Rex, it was very emotional, and I teared up.
Yes.
And
I'm getting there. I'm like on season 4. I think I just started season 5, but
it's about to get good. It's about to get good.
Better. But that scene, I got teared up. I'm like, wow, this is getting real.
The scene where Order 66 finally is initiated.
Oh my
with
goodness!
Her and between her, the other, when she's looking with the clones, and when the scene with Rey. I don't want to say anything for Anthony because I want him to be able to see that. But that was such a powerful scene where just seeing what was happening because of her relationship to the clones, which is different than most of the Jedi we've seen.
And when you have Rex and Ahsoka together in the shelf, nothing beats that. I'm telling you, those two will just
And it's uncanny how well Rosario, she obviously studied the motion of that character in the Clone Wars because, man, she nailed it. She nailed it.
Amazing.
And here's the thing. Carlos, thank you so much for the $5 bomb. If you could only get one Ahsoka,
Oh no.
which version would you get? So listen, I'm going to answer this question for you, Carlos. So here's the answer. I am a huge Captain Kirk fan and my favorite captain of all of Star Trek. And the reason being is, forget about the Kobayashi Maru. Listen, I don't believe personally in no-win scenarios, baby. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to reconstruct the rules of the Kobayashi Maru, baby. And I'm going to make sure I get both. So that's the answer to your question, my friend. Come on. Are you kidding? You're so spotchka for you, though, buddy. Thank you so much for the $5, Bob. You got to have them both. I mean, I so appreciate what Rosario Dawson did there, guys. And, yeah.
I mean, she sounds and she looks like Ahsoka. It's crazy. It's phenomenal. I mean, she sounds like an older version of Ahsoka.
But look, I'm going to put two up here that is going to, you guys are going to be shocked. You guys are going to be shocked. And I'm going to put one up that's, I think, going to be a little bit of a monkey wrench here. Could it be number one? And I tell you, why
is
not the
Urso
easy.
not on this though, Aries list?
Well, because she didn't come out in 2021, baby. This is
Well,
2021.
you just said it had to be a list that you got this year. You got her this year.
No, I'm talking about release.
Oh,
release
okay, gotcha.
by Hot
Okay,
Toys.
okay.
Here's one if it gets released before the end of the year. Are you kidding me?
Oh no.
Oh my God, KeCo, let's go with you. Look, I love Jango Fett. I really think we're going to get the base. I'm not going to get into that right now. But are you kidding me with this figure? Look at this masterpiece.
What are you doing? These incredible fest figures. But I mean, to walk on set, man, and to see these guys.
Are you guys there?
Yeah, am I hearing somebody?
Yeah, I was hearing somebody.
Either way, I'll answer the question. I believe if it's still posed to me. I mean,
Yes,
the head,
KeCo, yep.
the head sculpt alone is 10 out of 10. If we get anything even close to that, which all the Tim Morrison pieces that we've had have been fantastic. I mean, you get so much. And I love this. And yeah, of course. I mean, it's the next closest thing to Jango you could possibly. I'm sorry, the next closest thing to Boba that you could possibly have, and it's a flawless potential release. So yeah, why not, man?
Yeah, I mean, Peyton, let's go to you. If they come out with Jango Fett, I mean, I don't know where I would put this in my top 10. I mean, obviously the final production photos, they could blow it. It could be a bomb. There could be issues. But man, I mean, this top 10 would be so hard. Isn't it getting harder now?
Yes, I think this Jango Fett will hold top 5 throughout 2022. I'm not going to say that it will go below that because this is amazing. I mean, this Jango
but if it
Fett,
came out this year, though, because it's possible it can.
But it's
Where
back
does it
to
go?
the question: who would you kick? Like, this
Well,
is
there's
tough,
no problem. I
tough
kick the
decision.
Tuscan Raider out. You kick the Death Watch Mandalorian out. You kick some of those grunts out. I mean, and I know you guys love the IG-11, but Jango Fett's going to go
Jango
above
Fett's
that for
better.
me,
Jango Fett's way better.
Oh yeah.
But now it's starting to get tricky now, isn't it? If they release this before the end of the year.
Absolutely.
I mean, and KG, you're a Clone Wars fan, but I mean, this is epic, dude.
Yeah, you're putting me into a lot of stress right now, Aries.
I got 2 of my top 10, baby.
You're picking up some really great figures that are really stressing me out.
Just destroying the list, man.
Honestly, this figure, I don't have this on pre-order. I want to see the final product because I know we've seen Tamora Morrison, but I want to see that head sculpt. I want to see how that looks and then pull the trigger. This figure, that price point, it's a little steep, but I'm telling you right now, it's the same thing. I'm going to say it again. Once this thing sells out, when it's gone, you will never see it again.
No,
never.
You won't.
And here's the thing too, Mace Windu. If they announce a Mace Windu, this price will go up instantly as we see once the thing is announced, like 5 minutes after. It's going to be crazy, Aries. This is a great figure. I mean, to me, with the poncho and everything, I don't know about you, but he kind of reminds me of like a Clint Eastwood, both just a Mandalorian for me. I don't know. Yes. I just love that poncho look. It's just a great figure. As much as I don't like the prequels that much, especially the second film, but I just love love this figure. And, you know, because he is the dad of all the clones, and having this centerpiece and having all the clones right beside him, yeah, I'm all in.
Anthony, listen, and I'm bringing this up because this is due to come out January to March. So it's very possible with the way Hot Toys is operating right now, especially with the popularity of the Mandalorian and, you know, the Book of Boba Fett. He's talked about Jango, his father, just how many times just in the Mandalorian. This could be, though, officially, you know, released in Hong Kong. I mean, what would this do to your top 10? I mean, this looks freaking amazing.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me because with Hot Toys, right? If they just were like, "Yeah, we're gonna put this out tomorrow,"
yeah,
you know, and not anything else. You're just like, "Oh shit, here it is." Wouldn't surprise me one bit if they did that, like you mentioned, because it's just the Mando hype and everything,
right.
And you know, and I can't imagine this is not a lot for them to do. They're already working on all these head sculpts as it is, and this is all Mando armor. You know, it's probably done. It probably is done. I mean, really, or right at the very end of it. So, I mean, I don't know if it would throw a wrench in the top 10 too much, though. I mean, he's cool. I think like what KG was saying, if there was a, you know, a Mace Windu announcement or something, I think that'd be really, really cool. Like that would elevate this, I think. But as a figure, yeah, I agree. I think, you know, it's just as a figure as a whole, I don't think it would like dethrone like Boba 2-pack, you know, or Lando. I think he'd be up there though. I mean, I'm looking forward to him. You know, you forget, you know, there's so many figures that sometimes you forget these are, you know, I almost forgot he was coming, you know.
Yeah,
they don't have a lot of publicity, you know, they announce something and then that's it. And then we go on to the next announcements and so on and so forth. And then we have to think back and be like, oh yeah, this is still coming, you know. So
you know,
I'm looking forward to him either way.
Yeah, and it probably wouldn't overtake the 2-pack Boba Fett if that comes out for the end of the year. But telling you what, Anthony, and going to KeCo here, it would come close, baby. I love Jango Fett.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only thing that would hold this back, at least for me, is because there already is a sideshow version of this, which I actually have. So it's not as if there is there's not a Jango hole in the collection for some people. But I can assure you, as soon as it is released, it will be replaced without a doubt for the far superior version. So right now I'm holding steady with the sideshow version, but it will be replaced. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Naturally.
Well, listen, we got 130 in here. Hit the like button. We're going to go to the last thing. And the last one that before we go ahead and end this baby. So listen, we've talked about this already. And so this is going to be a little bit interesting, I think, for all of you guys. And let's make sure that I could pull this up correctly here. I'm scrolling down the wrong thing. Here we go. If they come out with this, supposedly, you know, next week or the week after, KeCo, I'm going to stay with you on this because we haven't gotten a Pedro Pascal head sculpt yet. And I'm telling you, I love the Mandalorian and I love Pedro Pascal. And I'm telling you right freaking now, KeCo, I don't know where it will go. This is definitely in my top 5.
The Pedro Pascal is the only thing that's currently saving it for me, simply because I already have 2 Mandos on the shelf, and so I'm not dying to have a third one on there. The Chrome is cool. I'm not gonna lie. The Darksaber is cool, but it's not like oh man, I can't wait to add this one to my shelf because I got 2 of them already on there. So that's the only thing that's stopping it. But man, that Pedro Pascal head sculpt is very, very good, nice. And it's very, very enticing. So that's the only thing that, you know, once it drops, it might change my opinion of it, because those blogger photos and those final release photos really do change the game. And I mean, they know what they're doing with their marketing. So once it drops and you see, you know, the little face, you know, with the little hand touching the face under the helmet, it might get me emotional and might get me more hype. So you never know.
Yeah, for sure.
Go ahead, KeCo. I mean, KG. We got a few minutes left before we end the show.
Yeah. I got to be honest with you. This figure, I agree with you, KeCo. I have 2 of those Mandos, and I'm in no rush to pick this up. And I do think, as much as I love this figure, I think he's going to be in the bargain bin. I got to be honest here, because look at the previous Mando. Now you can say that because, you know, season 2 came out, but the amount of publicity this thing got, and not good publicity, it got really bad. I mean, when this thing was announced, everybody was pissed because some people did not get their season 1 Mando, right? So this figure, I do believe there's a lot of them, and I do think this will hit free shipping, sort of maybe 10% off, and then I'll pull the trigger because $375 is a hard pill to swallow. It's a big pill, and to me, I think there will be a really good deal out there that I would really love because if I spend that, I think for us in California, shipped to from Sideshow will be like $411 or $420 shipped. With that, I'm like, do I feel like I made a good choice? You know, so I do think that this figure will hit the bargain bin. I don't see this selling out very quick. I mean, look, this line is so huge, and the figures that we're going to get for each of these figures are going to be a lot. So there's no rush. Trust me. There's nothing to don't panic about it. There's going to be a lot of these in the shelves. So
I totally agree. Let's go to Lane. Lane, your thoughts on this? Would this crack your top 10? It'd be so hard for this not to crack my top 5 because I am
He'd
just
be a top
dying.
5.
Yeah, Pedro Pascal. Come on.
Yeah, he'd be a top 5 for me easily. Because I sold my other best Mando, so I have money to buy him. But yeah, I think the chrome finish for it makes a big difference to me.
Huge.
But I have one question for you guys in relation to this figure.
Sure.
It's one we talked about earlier. And this is just for asking for yes or no response. When we were talking about how his release could affect other things coming out, what about the swoop bike?
I think that might come later. I got to be honest. I don't think that's their number 1 priority right now. Majority of the time, I think vehicles, correct me if I'm wrong, anybody who was experienced in collecting, but I think vehicles come in a later time than the figure does. So
yes,
I believe that the vehicle will probably see that maybe June, possibly.
I just been moved up because it's supposed to be, I think, like same time this is supposed to come or so right now.
It could. I might be wrong. I mean, it could. I mean, anything with Hot Toys, they're
anything. I like KG's point with that. I don't, but it's a good question, Lane. But
right. Anyway, sorry not to get a sidetrack.
No, this makes your top 5.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
All right, Anthony. I feel like it's like, oh wow, all these Star Wars figures that now they're talking about the rumor like we opened up the show with. If this comes out, I think this is a player because it has the chrome plating and it has a Pedro Pascal head sculpt.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting a little Mando fatigue, but I will say, just for Mando himself. But this is a figure I'm gonna get because, like we talked, the chrome armor, the ton of accessories. I'm not a fan of the sad Mando look. However, it is a head sculpt. We don't have a head sculpt for him. So that's a huge bonus. And I would most likely, or definitely, I should say, pose him very, very similar to how that is right there. Helmet's on, loaded with accessories. I would probably, if we can do it without too much futzing, I could put the head sculpt with the transport trooper. And fingers crossed we get a Mayfield, Bill Burr at some point.
Oh, you're gonna get at some point.
And do something like that. You know what I mean? So overall, it's one of those things though, right? Because they announced this not that long after, Beskar Deluxe. So, it's kind of a kick, and when you look at how much stuff comes with it, it's like, that's what's turning me on to it. This may be like a Ray status figure for me in that respect. Cause I love when you get a bunch of stuff with a figure, and this guy has it all.
Yeah, and for me, Anthony, with this figure, and I get it because a lot of people feel like you with the down look. I personally love the down look because my whole thing, how I'm going to pose him, is that finale scene, which is
with
how
Luke. I guess you could do
that.
that. Yeah,
so
I didn't think about that.
To go with the Luke, but Peyton, what do you think on this? Would this make your top 10, your top 5? I mean, it's very interesting. We're talking about the strong rumor. I mean, this could come out at midnight tonight.
Question, honestly, do I need the deluxe version? That's what I
personally think no.
That's keeping me from ordering this is because I cannot decide.
Go big or go home. That's always my thing. Just go big or go home.
Come on, KG.
Well, I mean, if you look at it, but would he, other than the Boba armor pieces, the jetpack and the helmet,
yeah, you still get the head
some
sculpt
sack and then like
you're getting a sack
couple
and a
things.
stick.
Yeah, I don't think you're missing too much, honestly. But for me, I always go for deluxe. I mean, honestly, if you don't see the need for it, I would say just go for the regular. Just save a little more money.
Yeah,
Especially because Peyton, it's boba accessories. Maybe that's the
Exactly.
reason to get it.
yeah, and I think that would be perfect if you did get the swoop bike. Like I think that's a must-have with the swoop bike is to have the armor hanging off the side and then have all the luggage. I think that's
Yeah.
kind of what they kind of are just trying to grab some more money with that, I guess. But
Right.
I don't think it's necessary to get the deluxe if you don't have the swoop bike.
Sure. No, it makes sense.
Yeah,
You could even use some of the jetpack and the helmet with the Boba 2-pack and the Nomad gear.
it's the same stuff. Yeah,
You know, it's the same stuff, but you have him already posed, and then you have your Nomad one, like with some of the accessories or, you know, something just
yeah.
for
That'd be
posing
cool.
purposes or photo purposes. I don't know. You know how it goes, man.
Or make your own.
Yeah, the biggest bang of the year was Durasteel and then Beskar. The combination between both accessories, it was like, oh, it's stuff like that, you know, where they get you on. You're like, I kind of need to have both of these.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, guys, with 127 in here, please hit that like button if you haven't already. What a great time. We're going to let these guys talk really briefly on their channels, what's going on. And while I'm doing that, last call. What table are you at? Tell me in the chat, baby. I'll pour it for you. I got regular here. I've got, look, the spotchka's almost done. So come on, let's go. And I didn't say it yet today, but I do have the Off-World Jawa egg juice, the pink lemonade version, baby. That's why it's kind of pink. All right, let's go with KeCo first. KeCo, always good to have you on the Market Show Live. Looking always forward to get you on when we can. What's going on at KeCo Collects? I love your channel. Go, baby.
Yeah, man, always a pleasure for inviting me on. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure to be with all my great panelists here, so thank you for having me as well. But yeah, if you've not been over to the channel here on YouTube, we are on a quest this darn close to 2021 subscribers. We're officially over 2,000 subscribers, which is fantastic. We just need that last few, so if you've not done so already, go ahead and hit subscribe. That's pretty cool. I'm trying to put out some good stuff out there. We have fun. And then obviously on my Instagram is where I do the toy photography, and obviously love being able to interact with everybody on there. But it's Hot Toys, it's Star Wars, it's a great time to be alive, everybody.
Thank you so much, KeCo. And listen, I've got to link to KeCo's channel within the video description below. Congratulations again on hitting that 2K, baby. Peyton, Peytstrick, what's going on? Love your channel as well. Always good to have you on here, brother.
I'm gonna have a collection tour soon. I do those quarterly. I do them every quarter of the year, so I'll have one coming up, and then hopefully, spoiler alert, this custom display case here eventually is gonna go across that whole wall. I'm gonna build a few more of them. Don't know when, but I'll have videos about that soon, so that's something to look forward to.
Well, I always look forward to your channel. Again, everybody, I've got Peytstrick within the video description below. Make sure you subscribe to all these guys. KG, always pleasure to have you on. What's going on at your channel?
I always love coming here, man. Whenever I think of Star Wars Hot Toys, I go to your channel as a resource. So, I mean, I love it.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. No, this month, I mean, I took a break of taking, live streams, but this month I will have a live stream. I don't know what date, but it's definitely going to be around Christmas time. The topic is going to be obviously No Way Home. It's going to be a really long discussion on it. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Awesome. Live streams. And you can find me on Instagram, KG_collector, and also YouTube, KG Collector. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, KG. Always good having you in here. Anthony, 6 Scale Mafia. Love your channel. Love having you on. What's going on at 6 Scale Mafia, baby?
Hey, again, always thanks for having me on. Of course, as KG said, you are the go-to for the Star Wars, the market, everything, what you do for the community. So it's always a pleasure being here and having you on mine as well. I've got a couple things in the works. I got 2 shows coming. Can't talk about it too much. One of them is going to be Star Trek. If you guys are any Trekkies out there, it's pretty cool. We're working on some things on that, and then our regular streams here that'll be coming weekly again. As far as a couple reviews, just been a little rough. I've been doing a lot of work for Trek related things, so more reviews are coming. Again, Cisco Mafia across the board. Instagram's where I do my photos as well, KeCo, and we're just gonna keep on trucking.
Well, great having you on, Anthony. And again, I got the link to all these guys, Anthony and KG as well, with the video description below. And last but certainly not least, and I'll put this up from Lane. And thank you so much, Lane, to Aries for a tough week. Thanks for stream. To awesome panel, tons of fun. To the chat, thanks for joining and being full of energy and engaging. Lane Kramer, thank you so much for the $5 Bob. You didn't have to do that, baby. But yeah, it was a tough week for me, you know that. But I'm always positive, and things worked out really, really good. So, you know, thank God for that. And it was so much fun being here tonight. But listen, baby, I know you don't got a channel, but tell me what's going on Planet Tatooine. What's going on with you?
Well, currently we are preparing tours and everything, ticket prices and everything being worked out.
Watch out for Disney on that.
Yeah, well, we're talking to the local sand people, seeing if we can get some tour guides, and we're planning visits to your local pit of Kakrun, with hopefully not too up close tentacle meetings with crate dragons and ever wonderful diagnas and anything else that can possibly eat you.
Well, listen, let's see if I got this up, because I poured everybody their last drink, and let's see if I have this here. Oh, I don't know if I can grab it. Oh yeah, I can. Look. Here's the last. I'll give you a special Grogu one. He's drinking it right now. He's actually watching. Here he is.
I love that. I love it.
A lot of fun, guys. Listen, I don't always buy coffee out, but when I do, I buy it from 6 Scale Cantina. Stay thirsty, my friends.
See you guys
next week.
Thank you, everybody.
Next time.
Happy holidays.